Okay, here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I just had to rush home straight from the kids' basketball game. Went into overtime. Literally just sat down into my chair. So, catch my breath a little bit here. How's everybody doing tonight? We've got a good show planned for you tonight. Is everybody there? I don't see the chat moving. We in here? It says yes. We here? All right, good. How's the volume? How's the audio? How's everything? How is everybody? How y'all doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon? So, what are we covering today? Well, what's the biggest story in the entire world? Yes, the United States being a bad boy, just rolling into sovereign countries and kidnapping presidents of foreign countries like it's nothing. So we're going to talk about the actual mission itself, okay, from start to finish. I think that might be interesting for you guys to understand how all of this, a massive joint combat operation, actually works from start to finish, right? From the high side, and what I mean by high side is the start of it, CIA, building in assets, actually getting access and placement to Maduro, his regime, how that works, moving into the actual operation itself, everything that goes into it from the aircraft needed, right, from start to finish. How do we actually move in, counter all the air defense systems? How do we use all our aircraft, all our air assets to counter and defeat everything so that you can roll in a bunch of helicopters full of badass fucking Delta Force operators to fast rope on top of a goddamn skyscraper to infiltrate a building and capture a foreign nation's leader. Absolutely, I'll tell you this, guys. And we're going to talk a bunch about regime change and everything that's going on around Venezuela as well. But I got to tell you guys, there's my wife right on time. There she is. Bringing in our one drink. We get a one drink rule now. I'm trying to stay lean, trying to stay real fit for the SHOT Show award show that we're going to. So I'm not drinking too much. But anyway, what I want you guys to think about before we start this off is there is a stark difference between what we just did from a foreign policy as a nation, that being okay. I do not agree with what we did at all. However, the U.S. military, the actual operation itself, is one of the most insanely impressive, well pulled off, strategic, tactical operations that's ever happened, by far. And so we can sort of compartmentalize the fact that we perhaps morally disagree with the decision, but also be wildly impressed by the U.S. military and its fucking capabilities. I mean, it's fucking incredible. It's absolutely badass. And I'm gonna walk you guys through how all of this works, from the actual operation itself, and then we're gonna dive into the repercussions, second and third order effects. Because yes, the reality is, guys, we didn't change any regime. I know Fox News wants to tell you this. I know Trump wants to tell you this, that the regime has changed and the Venezuelan people are free and we own all the oil. None of that is true. None of that has happened. The regime is still very much fully intact. The Maduro regime is still much fully in charge of the government, in charge of the military. The Venezuelan people are not freed by any sense of the imagination. We do not control any of the oil. We do not control anything in Venezuela. And it's going to be important for us to understand, because if we want to control all those things, there's going to be a process to do that. And it's not going to be peaceful, most likely. Okay. So that'll be second part of the show. Oh, I'm not a liberal. I'm a socialist, brother. Far left socialist. But I'm also just not retarded like you are. So there's that. But anyway, as we move through this, we're going to, again, go through all the military actual operation itself. Fucking badass. Again, as a military guy myself, You got to love it. You got to love it. Okay. But again, is it a good thing that we are, again, rolling into sovereign nations and kidnapping their presidents? Probably not. Okay. And there's a reason for that. It's going to open up the doors for other countries, China, Taiwan, to potentially use this as an excuse for them to carry out their own strategic incentives in their own AORs, area of responsibilities and things like that. Okay. So, all right. Looks like, well, we got some butthurt haters in the chat already. That's fine. We'll just ban you and move on. Not a big deal. All right, so let's kick it off. We got everybody starting to roll into the show. Oh, and then we got a regular show too as well. Okay, where we're going to talk about, not as big, but we'll talk about everything that's going on, current events, Republicans, Democrats, and it turns out, yes, our greatest ally is somehow very much involved in all of this, including Venezuela. Isn't that a shocker to everybody? Shocker to everybody. All right, so let me grab some of my caffeine pouches here before we kick this off. All right. So first thing, again, we're going to talk about, start to finish, how we actually pulled this incredible operation, and it is incredible, how we pulled it off. All right. So let's start at the beginning. So these type of things, they don't start a week before you actually see the final product, which is the operation itself. This is probably years in the making, especially when we talk about the actual intelligence side. Intelligence is probably the most important and fundamental part of this entire operation. When you're talking about Maduro, you're talking about a Latin America dictator, which he was, who has a security posture because he knows that high likelihood that not just the United States is potentially going to roll in and schwack him, but his own people, the opposition party, are looking to remove him. Okay, so any of these, much like Putin, much like Kim Jong-un, Xi, all of these sort of authoritarian leaders have massive security postures, right? They're going to have huge security network. And so countering that is usually going to be very, very difficult. They're going to have a ton of different things in place to make it really difficult for you to do what we just did. And so the intelligence side of things, you have to know where Maduro is. You have to know his pattern of movement. You have to know where he beds down, right? You have to know, and to this point, his actual location that he's living in, right? And we do know that Delta Force, the intelligence we had already mapped out the entire skyscraper structure, room by room, and built a mock version of it, I believe in Kentucky. I'm not exactly sure, either Kentucky, maybe Kansas, for them to actually operate it. And how do you learn all that? Well, we learn that from inside with spies, right? CIA spies. And so we've got access and placement, essentially people that are in the CIA that who knows how long have been working inside the Maduro regime, gathering all that information, figuring out all of his pattern of life, where he's going to be, right? Where he's most vulnerable, all those different things. So that goes back for who knows how long. And there's probably multiple people in place. Also, you need to know a bunch of other things, right? You got to know all of the anti-air capabilities you have. If you're going to roll in with, again, helicopters right into the middle of a major city, you've got to know how to defeat all the anti-air. You got to know where they are. You got to know where potentially all of the power systems are that are going to power the city, right? Because we shut all the lights off. We shut all the internet off. We did all these things. All of this is done on high side. High side means sort of your intelligence side, CIA type stuff. So all of that was probably developed over years, and then probably over the last month or two, really refined and nailed in. Okay, so we definitely knew exactly where he was going to be, when he was going to be there, how many security he was going to have, where those security were going to be postured, right? Basically, probably by room. Like Delta is going to know all of that before we ever even step off and get to that. Okay, get to that point. Let me watch a video here from, I believe, Raisin Cane. talking about exactly this. I believe this is the one I want. So let's watch this first. And then we're going to get into how we actually conducted the operation.
A little bit about the preparation. After months of work by our intelligence teammates to find Maduro and understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets. In early December, our force was set pending a series of aligned events. Key was choosing the right day to minimize the potential for civilian harm and maximize the element of surprise and minimize the harm to the indicted personnel. So as the president said, they could be brought to justice. And as the president said earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right triggers to be met and the president to order us into action. Last night, the weather broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about aircraft next. Okay. I want to do a poll real quick just to get your guys' take here. Do you guys approve of what the United States just did? Yes or no? Do you approve of us rolling in and kidnapping a foreign nation's president? Again, he is a dictator, no doubt. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys approve? There's no wrong answers here. I just want to get a gauge of what people think, because it's going to be important as we move forward and talk about this. All right, now let's talk about prepping the battlefield. Okay, shaping operations. What that means is before you actually roll in with your aircraft, as in your fighter jets. We'll get into talking about all the different aircraft and air assets that we used. Before that, what we did is we used U.S. cybercom. Okay, cyber warfare. The United States has some of the best cyber warfare in the world. Okay, and so what we did, and when we rolled into Caracas, before we did is we actually shut down through, I don't know exactly how we did it because I'm not a tech nerd. We shut down the power to the area that we're going to, right? So the city went dark because, yes, the United States military, we operate way better than everybody under the cover of darkness. Okay, so we wiped out all the power. We also wiped out all the internet. Now, things like this are really important. We learned this lesson actually on the Osama bin Laden raid. Okay, when you don't wipe out the power, when you don't wipe out the internet, on the Osama bin Laden raid, if you guys didn't know, the first person that actually leaked that was happening was a student who actually watched the U.S. helicopters roll over the top of his building and tweeted about it on Twitter. And so the world knew that we were conducting the Osama bin Laden raid because of some student who put it out on Twitter as it was happening. Okay, so shutting down the internet also removes the ability for communications, telecommunications. It blacks out Maduro, his security team. They have no idea what the fuck's going on. Nobody does. Okay, so U.S. cybercom wipes all of that out before we then move in with our actual aircraft, right? Because you have to counter all the SAM systems, surface to air missiles, all the different things that are going to shoot your air assets down. And when it comes to helicopters do not do well in a non-permissive environment. Okay, non-permissive means a situation where the enemy has a lot of anti-aircraft capabilities, surface to air missiles, different things like that. Okay, so they can shoot your helicopters down really easily if you don't counter and defeat them. Helicopters move slow. They're troop carriers. They loiter. They hover. Really, really bad. So, okay, so we had to make sure that we countered all of the Russian and Chinese made surface to air missile systems and anti-air systems with our own fighter aircraft and stuff like that before you can roll in Delta Force on CH-47s, the big double rotored helicopters that we're going to show in a minute. You have to make sure it makes sense. And yet we're going to talk about this in just a minute. Great point. You have to make sure that you're countering all of those surface-to-air missile systems, all of those anti-aircraft systems, so that you can safely bring in helicopters. Because I'll tell you guys, this is very, very risky. This was an insanely risky thing to do. Flying helicopters into the middle of a city, loitering them over a building and fast roping Delta Force operators off. And we know that through history, because some of the most prominent military raids have had helicopters shot down. The Son Tay raid, Vietnam, famous one where he had a helicopter shot down. Osama bin Laden raid, crashed a helicopter. Extortion 17, Operation Red Wings, lone survivor, helicopter shot down. Okay, so it's called fallen angel, right? A helicopter being shot down is probably the worst case scenario in any military operation. Incredibly fucking dangerous, incredibly risky. And so the fact Black Hawk Down, buff like Jesus, great point here. Okay. I mean, it's so risky. The fact we decided to do this and pulled it off successfully, again, is super, super impressive. But I want to show you guys everything that actually went into from the aircraft side of things before we ever rolled Delta Force in on the helicopters. These were all 150 aircraft were used in this. Okay, so let's take a look at all these things, and I'll kind of explain how all this works. All right, so you had your fighter and attack aircraft. All right, you had your F-22 Raptors, stealth fighter. Your F-35, this is our highest gen fighter, stealth fighter as well. Your F-A-18 Super Hornet. And then your EA-18 Growlers, electronic warfare variant of the Super Hornet. Okay, we'll talk about these first before we talk about the bombers. This guy right here, one of the most important. I'll show you guys how this actually, or explain to you guys how this actually works with fighter aircraft to defeat the surface-to-air missile systems. Okay, so typically, you guys may have seen when we're talking about surface-to-air missile systems or SAM systems, the big giant missiles that are sticking up, right? Three-pronged missiles and things like that. That's not actually what you're countering. What you're countering is the giant radar system, the brain, the computer network that's actually tracking all the aircraft, the radars. So that's what you have to counter, so that, you cut off the brain to all of the aircraft or the anti-air missiles. They can't shoot down your planes. And so what you have is you have the FA-18, the EA-18 Growler, which is an electronic warfare variant of the Super Hornet. And what this is designed to do is to electronically counter those surface-to-air missile systems and their radars and everything. So this comes in first. Your EA-18s will come in first. They'll basically electronically counter all of these surface-to-air missile systems. So that way you have your actual fighter pilot or your fighter jets that'll come in, your F-35s, your FA-18s, Super Hornets, things like that are going to come in behind your electronic warfare counterers like the EA-18 Growler. After they've shut down the radar systems, they're going to come in right behind that, and they're actually going to strike all of those SAM sites, those anti-aircraft sites. That's what they're going to take out. So you guys probably saw a bunch of videos of all of the strikes on the ground. That's what's being taken out. Okay, is that first wave of our highest gen stealth fighters moving in, taking out all of the counter air systems. Which the reason why this is so impressive is that these anti-aircraft systems are pretty much all Chinese or Russian made, same ones they're using in Iran. And so what we showed is those systems mean absolutely, excuse my French, fucking nothing to the United States capability. We can roll in there. We can shut down your entire anti-aircraft systems. We can destroy them all in the middle of a city, and then we can just roll in slow-moving helicopters right behind that. Which, again, to do that in the middle of a city, super, super ballsy, but also incredibly impressive. All right, and then as we move back to it, that's just the fighter jets. All right, then you also had the bombers, a B-1B Lancer, long-range supersonic bombers. Okay, you had your surveillance and support aircraft. All right, so your intelligence aircraft, these are going to be your eyes in the sky. They're actually going to provide you ISR to be actually able to see what's on the ground and different things like that. And then as we move down here, these are actually rotary wing helicopters. This is what's going to roll in and actually bring in those Delta Force operators, which is going to be these ones right here, which is Special Operations variant, which is the 160th. It's going to fly in the MH-47 Chinooks. That's going to carry all of those Delta operators. And it's going to be those troop carriers are going to be assisted by things like your Viper attack helicopters, your Apache helicopters, your Little Birds. All of these helicopters are going to move in and protect that those CH-47s as they bring in the actual troops to do the hit themselves. Okay, so this is like after you've countered all the air systems, you've knocked out all the power, you've knocked out all the internet. Now you're rolling in your helicopters with the boys. You also have drones. Okay, you've got Predator drones, you've got surveillance drones, you've got stealth drones, all monitoring everything that's going on at the same time. So again, upwards of, I believe, 150. Yeah, here we go. So over 150 aircraft were used, launched from over 20 bases to provide air cover, strike capabilities, recon, direct insertion of special forces. All right, helicopters flew at a very low altitude to evade air defenses and insert Delta. Okay, this is what makes the 160th so incredible, and I've ridden in on operations on 160th myself. They fly what's called Nap of the Earth. Nap of the Earth essentially means that helicopter is flying right above the surface for the most part. It's flying so low that most anti-aircraft system and radar are not even going to pick it up. It's insanely wild to be sitting on an aircraft that's flying right above the ground, and especially coming over the top of vegetation or mountains or anything like that. So that's how those helicopters are rolling in as they come into the city, as they're coming in to hit the actual target building. Okay. Now I want to show you this video that did a very good job of actually explaining how Delta Force pulled the actual tactical side. And now we're talking about the troops getting there. Okay. So again, eyesight planning's done. We know where he is. We shut off all the power. We shut off all the internet. We shut down the air defenses, and we were straight up rolled helicopters right over the top. And I'll show you a video here. Can't play the sound because this is actually a meme video with Fetty Wap playing. But as you can see, well, let me restart this. Actual video footage of here. This is Maduro's building that they landed on. This is a CH-47, or this is an MH-47, excuse me, the 160th variant, the Special Operations variant. It's going to come over the top of this building, loiter, and this video doesn't have it, and they're going to fast rope out of it. Okay, so they're going to drop ropes, and those Delta operators are going to come down the ropes and actually land on the building. And then that aircraft is going to leave, and it's going to go loiter somewhere else while the Delta operators pull their hit off, because, again, you do not want to loiter a giant CH-47 troop carrier, 600 feet off the ground in the middle of a city. Great way to get that thing shot down. So just, again, the balls, the brass balls of the United States military to do this was absolutely wild. Because, again, I want you guys to understand, if that MH-47 would have been shot down and 20 Delta operators, an entire squadron of Delta operators would have been killed, and we did not secure Maduro, that would have been the end of Trump's presidency. I mean, the end. I mean, dual party impeachment. He would have been it would have been one of the biggest faux pas in American history. And so what I mean by that is this is massive risk. Massive risk. If you fail that operation and you get that helicopter shot down and you kill a bunch of Delta dudes and you don't secure the payload, the target, you're fucked. You're so fucked as a leader. I mean, it would have gone down as one of the biggest, probably the biggest botched military operation in American history. So again, we give Trump a lot of criticism. I don't agree with the decision to do this, but the brass balls to go for this, it's hard to criticize that. All right. Now this video is really good because it actually talks about how the Delta dudes did this from a tactical standpoint. So let's take a look at this.
Simple. The CIA.
All right, hold on. Let's restart. Here we go.
Utilized helicopters hovered over the objective to insert the assault team. While dozens of attack helicopters laid down suppression fire, the Delta Special Forces descended and started the search for the high-value targets. How did they find him? Simple. The CIA had planted spy inside Nicolás Maduro close circle. While back in the U.S., Delta Force built an exact replica of his safe house, rehearsing the raid until they could do it blindfolded. While operators breached the room so fast, his security could not even react to the situation as the sound of flash grenades disoriented the security guard. Using blowtorch, they caught him before he could even lock all the doors. Maduro's shock and awe froze him as Delta Force reached the compound. Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were physically secured. This wasn't a negotiation. They were detained and immediately moved to the extraction point. These aircraft are capable of performing urban extractions from buildings and refueling in midair. Within minutes, they were airborne, leaving Venezuelan airspace and heading to a secure floating staging base in the Caribbean. Specialized.
So, all in all, I believe from time on target, from the time the Delta operators hit the top of the roof to the time they left the roof with Maduro, I believe it was about 6.5 minutes, which is, I mean, maybe I got that wrong, but that's, I believe the actual extraction point on the building itself, I believe, was about 6.5 minutes. Nick, you correct me if I'm wrong on that, but phenomenal. I mean, the most gangster shit ever. Now, the question is, though, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. I'm thinking about doing a whole video on this. A lot of you guys may have been wondering or may have been thinking, it just kind of seemed too easy. It seemed too easy. I mean, this is insanely complicated to pull this off. Absolutely amazing. No helicopters get shot down. I do believe there was a couple of Delta operators hit. I haven't been able to confirm that as well. But there's some things I've been wondering, guys. And I don't want to take any fucking credit away from my boys in the military. But I do personally feel, not that, I don't want to call it staged, but I do have some questions. As someone, I haven't done anything like this, don't get me wrong, but I've done some fairly high profile combat operations. And it's just the fact that, again, we are good at what we do. Shutting off the power, shutting off the internet, countering the air systems. But I mean, flying a bunch of helicopters right into the middle of the city and fast roping dudes onto the roof is so risky that it's hard for me to believe that someone didn't know that this was going to happen. And by someone, I mean Maduro himself. Maduro's underlings, who may have helped facilitate and set this up and made sure they left the anti-air systems off. And there's some things, again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the military, but I am wondering, because it does not appear to me that Maduro was captured under duress. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of these pictures. The dude had about 7 different outfits. It was like a Taylor Swift concert. He did not seem to be captured under duress at all. Again, I don't know, because at the same time, I do know 80 plus people, Venezuelans, were killed. A lot of innocent people, unfortunately, were killed. I do believe there was a few Delta operators potentially hit, but it just seems so. And I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe we do a poll here. Maybe we do a poll. Let's put it up to the chat and let's see what you guys think. I don't want to say it was staged, right? I hate to say staged, but what's a way we could frame this? Give me a way to frame this, guys. It doesn't make it sound like, I don't think it's like some completely staged theatric bullshit, but I do think that potentially more people were in on this than we thought. So let's see, maybe scripted, planned, pre-planned. I like pre-planned. Pre-planned's a good one, right? Pre-planned as in both sides knew that this was coming. Choreographed is another good one. Wife just said. Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the military, but I am with you guys a little bit on the fact, and it wasn't just how well that, like, I'm not taking anything away from Delta, best in the entire fucking world. It's more of, I keep seeing this shit. I mean, everywhere we look, this dude's just not worried about much, man. Big smiles on his face, thumbs up, posing with people, 7 different outfits. There's another one. I can't put the music on here. Another different outfit, thumbs ups. Another, like, what's the Nike fit? Like, how many different outfits did they like bring for this dude? You know? And another one I'm sort of wondering about is the actual picture, the initial picture. Shit, I don't have it. Let's see if I can pull it up here. The initial picture of him being rolled in, I started to think about this and I was like, okay, this is bizarre to me. Let me pull it up. I'm just going to have to show you guys a thumbnail here from my own channel because I don't know where the actual video is. But it's good enough, right? To show you guys this. You guys remember this picture right here? The Maduro standing there with the 2 Delta operators. That's the first picture they released, right? This one. Okay. So supposedly that was them very first getting him. Okay. He's in a full suit. He's in his normal, like, workwear suit here. But we're also being told that he was, like, basically ripped out of his bed, him and his wife. Right? So why, like, when he's initially caught, he's in a full suit as if he's in his normal political get up. And then he's got 10 different outfits. He's got the Nike fit, he's got the blue jumpsuit, he's got the black jumpsuit. Like, what is all the outfit changes? Like, it seems like the suit photos AI. So that's what I was thinking. Like, a lot of these I think were probably AI. But again, kind of bizarre. And again, I'm not saying that this thing was staged. I just am saying, let's see what you guys thought. Pre-planned. So 85% of you think this was pre-planned. Let's talk a little bit about that. Now, there's some options here. If it was pre-planned, it could be possible this was pre-planned with Maduro. Maduro is looking for an out. Right? So he can sort of potentially, America can get a win. He can save face. And what I mean by that is he probably takes some, if we see him take some whack ass plea deal that gives him like a couple years in prison, then extradites him to like Colombia a year later or some shit like that. Right? Like, if we see that, then I think that is a pretty good indication that, like, Maduro may have been in on this. Now, there's also the options that Maduro had no idea, and the people below Maduro and his party, his regime, sold him out, which I think is much more likely based off of we're gonna see what the Trump administration is talking about, the current Maduro regime that's still in power, that's taken over. You could have his underlings or his regime sells him out, sets him up, gets rid of him, and then what? And then says, okay, America, now we're down to play ball. All right, we'll give you what you want. Bring in Chevron, bring in Exxon. Like, we'll give you all the access to our natural resources, to our oil, to our gold. You can have it all. All right. You just have to leave our regime in power, which I think is exactly what's going to happen. The more I'm looking at this is what I'm foreseeing is really what's going to happen. Now, why is that pretty fucked up? Well, not necessarily for us, for America. For Venezuela, it is. So for all the Venezuelan people who are out there cheering. They're finally liberated, right? 25 years liberated. You ain't fucking liberated. You most likely just have the same dictatorship regime that's going to maintain control. Not only are they going to maintain control, but now they're going to let the United States harvest and rape your entire country of all its natural resources, oil and gas and gold. And the Venezuelan people are going to be even worse off in the long run. That's in my opinion, that's most likely the future we're looking at, is now we have a friendly dictatorship that the United States is allied with that's going to continue to completely fuck over the Venezuelan people, but it doesn't matter because American corporate interests are going to harvest and yank everything out of Venezuela for benefit of America. To me, that seems like a lot better option for both Maduro's regime and the United States than devolving into some massive civil war where the United States now arms and backs a resistance force with Maria Machado or whoever the fuck, and they fight an actual war with Maduro's regime. That's not good for anybody. That's another 20-year protracted Vietnam, Iraq, which may happen. That's still on the table. This is me giving the Trump administration a lot of grace that they're smart enough to have planned this out. But I mean, it's going to be a lot of really upset Venezuelans in 5-10 years from now when you realize you didn't get your freedom and now the United States owns everything in your country. And so you have to ask yourselves, or we should ask ourselves, is that America first? Is this America first? Is American imperialism, which is what we're talking about here, America first? Is bullying our neighbors in our own hemisphere and literally raping them of their natural resources and leaving the actual people of that country in destitute and poverty, is that America first? I see a lot of no's. There's some people saying yeses. This is what I was looking for. This is the comment. This is the answer. He nailed it. It is 100% corporate America, Zionist America, military industrial complex America first. Absolutely. You know why? Because you, me, all of us in this chat, we're not going to see any fucking benefit from any of this. We can go in and take all $20 trillion worth of that oil. Not a single one of us in this fucking chat is going to get any benefit in the next 10 years in our lives out of that. But you know who will? Shareholders of Chevron, Exxon, and Shell. I can guarantee you that. They're salivating right now, boys. They're salivating. We're not going to get anything out of that, but they will. And so we'll get more into it here, okay? But I mean, I think for me personally, I think there's more going on behind the scenes here than we may realize. Cheaper gas. Now, here's the discussion. Did we get cheaper gas because of the 25-year protracted war in Iraq? Ask yourselves that. We're still in Iraq, guys, by the way. Did we get cheaper gas because of Iraq? That's what we were promised. We didn't get fucking cheaper gas at all. Gas is, not only did we not get cheaper gas when the global war on terror started was like 87 cents a gallon. It's like 5x'd, 4 or 5x'd in 25 years during that entire 25-year war. It got 5 times as expensive. So why should we expect anything different? Just because we, America and American oil conglomerates, get access to Venezuela's natural resources, why would we? It's trickle down, right? Trickle down economics. Like, okay, here's a good idea from Aqua. There's ways you can leverage this as an American citizen, potentially, right? But is that America first? Now, okay, so cool. We talked about the actual operation itself. Again, super, super impressive, proud, of the U.S. military and the Army, proud of Army Special Forces, Delta Force, everybody involved from a tactical standpoint. Absolutely badass. It does get me bricked up as a guy who used to do this type of thing for a living. But again, what comes next? What comes next? And also, let's move into, what are we distracting from? What are we distracting from? Because if you guys didn't know, and I'm going to do a whole video on this tomorrow, it turns out, and if you don't follow OAF Nation Actual, fantastic Instagram page, one of my favorites. So it turns out Delta Force operation to capture Maduro ran on the same day the Department of Justice was required to provide justification for redactions it made relating to the Epstein pedophilia scandal, which the DOJ has yet to provide and is now in violation of the law. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that we pulled this massive military operation off on the same day the rest of the Epstein files were legally required to be released? And guess what the administration didn't do? It didn't release the files, and it still hasn't. And they're not saying a fucking word about it. Really, do we think it's that big of a coincidence that on the same day they were required legally to release the rest of the Epstein files, they invade a foreign fucking country and kidnap the leader? The same day. And guess what? Is the mainstream media talking about the Epstein files? Is anyone talking about the Epstein files besides me? Maybe a couple other content creators? Like, hey guys, remember over here? Remember all the pedophiles? We're just going to forget about that because we invaded a foreign country? Apparently we are. Apparently, like, the story's dead. Like, it's done. We're just not going to release the rest of the Epstein files. Cool. I don't think that's a coincidence. And we called this. Guys, we called this like 2 weeks ago on the show. Literally said, when the Epstein files were going to be released, we literally said we are either going to invade Venezuela, Iran, or it's going to be a false flag Islamic terrorist attack. One of those three things. We literally said this 2 weeks ago. And they do it on the exact fucking day. Right? It's like you can't do it. All right, let's get some comedic relief before we move into some of the rest of the show here. Okay. There is some, like, I will say the memes are phenomenal on this, guys. All right, here's one right here. Both held strategic oil reserves, both fell victim to American democracy with and they're actually, I believe, housed in the same prison now. It's just, again, the memes are out of control on this. Okay. Let me show you guys a couple other things here too. Tucker talked about something I think is important here. Let's pull this up real quick. Okay, here we go.
Maduro, the communist leader of Venezuela, who I guess were on the way to killing or something, forcing out regime changing him. Maduro, most people didn't know this, whatever his many faults, has the most socially conservative country probably in the hemisphere. It's just a fact. I mean, I didn't make this up. I'm not in charge of Venezuela. Just noticing. Venezuela has banned abortion, banned gay marriage, banned sex changes, and banned usury. You don't have credit cards with 40% interest in Venezuela. Ben Shapiro responded this way.
He's shipping fentanyl to the United States to kill Americans. Why do I give a shit whether he's anti-LGBTQ rights?
Maduro's against Israel. Oh.
And he is. Did you guys know that? He banned usury. Did you guys know that Maduro, I mean, he's running a Catholic nation. One of the most socially conservative nations, again, Tucker said, in the Western Hemisphere. All of the things supposedly MAGA, that, you know, the MAGA movement, that's literally, he's the shining example of what MAGA believes in. Did you guys know that? He is. He's Catholic, socially conservative, banned abortion, banned usury, all of these things that MAGA here in America says is exactly what they want in this country. He has in Venezuela. Now, I'm not saying I agree with those things. I am saying MAGA agrees with those things. Trump agrees with those things. How is he the bad guy to MAGA? He should be MAGA's best friend. He should be Trump's best friend. He's doing all of the things that Donald Trump is supposedly supposed to do. But he is anti our greatest ally. Did you guys know that? Venezuela's been one of the biggest pro-Palestine, anti our greatest ally countries. And again, I'm not excusing Maduro. I think he's obviously a horrible human being. He's a dictator, but so is our own president, by the way. Oh, I mean, let's take a look around at this point. Right? So are all the Latin American leaders. Okay. They're all that way. Is he any worse, again, than what we have in power right now in our own fucking country? I don't know. But again, to my point, you would think MAGA would love this guy. But no, this is what MAGA has to say. Here's MAGA. No one cares if this was for oil or not. No one cares if Congress approved this or not. No one cares at all. I'm blown away at how fucking stupid these people are. Trump freed 30 million people. We'll talk about this. Trump freed 30 million people and changed the destiny of Latin America before most of the people bitching and moaning even woke up and brushed their teeth. The mission was perfectly executed. Wow. Trump freed 30 million. This is what MAGA is saying. Trump freed 30 million people in Venezuela. How? How did he free anybody? Maduro's regime is in power. Maduro's vice president took power immediately after. Their defense minister, who's been behind a lot of the crazy shit, literally came out and said, we're going to continue fighting the United States. What do you mean we freed 30 million people? We didn't do anything. We didn't remove Maduro's regime. We didn't take control of the military. We didn't take control of the oil reserves. We didn't take control of the gold. We took control of nothing. We kidnapped Maduro. That's it. I want you guys to really understand nothing else has been done. Nothing else has happened other than that. We've done nothing other than take their president. And so when you hear America controls Venezuela, with what? Our military's not there. We don't control the government. We don't control anything. I'll show you Venezuela themselves are saying it. Venezuelan army pledges allegiance to vice president following U.S. kidnap of Maduro. Yes, the military has said we are still loyal to Maduro's regime. Nothing's changing. We still have to deal with this. And we're already saying, like I said, what's going to happen typically devolves into what? Civil war. Now, I hope this doesn't happen in Venezuela, but it's already starting. Shootings in several cities across Venezuela tonight. Possible coup underway. We've seen a bunch of this. It's already starting to pop off. I don't know if I'm allowed to show this, but we're going to show it anyway. Let me restart. This was all happening a couple nights ago, or 2 nights ago, 1 night ago.
Maldito, y que tírate al suelo.
Yep.
Mandando a tirar al suelo a este carajo y este carajo ni. Si escucha lo que le dice y que para dónde vas tú, yo vivo aquí, le dice este carajo. ¿Qué es eso? Y se quiso ir la luz.
This is all Venezuela after we left, guys. And so we don't know what's going to happen yet. Is there going to be a civil war? I mean, probably not, because the people don't have any weapons. They are completely disarmed. And Maduro's military and Maduro's regime is still 100% in power. And so how are we going to remove them from power? Do you guys know how we do this? Do you know how we've done it every single time when we need to remove someone from power? Do you think we do it by you kidnap one leader and you're good? You kill one leader and you're good? That's not how it works, guys. You put a fuck ton of American boots on the ground, you invade their country, and you force a regime change, and you begin nation building. Now, we're not very good at it. It's not successful. But you don't, like, just, again, I'm trying to drive into everybody's head. Yeah, the power vacuum, bees. Where was bees? Power vacuum. We don't know what's going to happen to the power vacuum. But again, probably nothing at the moment because Maduro's regime is still 100% in fucking charge of everything. And so I don't, like, again, guys, I'm trying to tell you, like, you're being told by everybody, Fox News, this administration, what a massive victory this is. And it's just like, oh, also, little Freudian slip here. Fox News, of course, is going to let you know who this really is a success for. They're saying the quiet part out loud. You guys may have seen this. Just listen.
The implications here are really great for the Venezuelan people. 27 years if you package together Chavez and Maduro.
I mean, how do you accidentally say this is a great victory for the Venezuelan people? Why are you even thinking about Israel, General? How is Israel even in your fucking brain when you're talking about the Venezuelan people, dude? Israel, I mean, why are you even thinking about that, dude? You know what I mean, guys? Like, well, that's Fox News, of course, though, right? And you got to ask yourself, is this about drugs? Because Maduro's being indicted for cocaine, not fentanyl, by the way. If you go through the charging documents, not a word about fentanyl. Remember, they told you Venezuela's killing all the Americans with the fentanyl that they don't produce. Maduro's being indicted for cocaine. And friendly reminder, Trump just pardoned Honduras president for trafficking 400 tons of cocaine this month. This was like 30 days ago he pardoned Honduras' president for trafficking 400 tons of cocaine. So again, it has nothing to do with drugs. It has nothing. There's no fentanyl in Venezuela. Not only does it have nothing to do you guys know when it comes to the actual cocaine import, Venezuela produces cocaine. They do. You guys realize that over 90% of Venezuela's cocaine that they produce goes to Europe. It gets shipped out of Venezuela. It goes to Africa. It's trafficked through Africa into Morocco. And then it goes from Morocco to Spain. And then from Spain, it's trafficked to Europe. It doesn't even fucking come to the United States. Maybe like 8%. All the cocaine comes from Colombia and Mexico. The fentanyl comes from Mexico. Venezuela doesn't even barely imports anything to the United States. Are we starting to get this yet? It's like the WMDs, the weapons of mass destruction. It's all fucking bullshit. It's all bullshit. The reason why we're doing this, well, at least what they're telling you, right, is we got the narco-terrorism and the machine guns. But I want you guys, the Trump admin has been one of the most brutal things ever to watch in their response. Embarrassing. This is, I don't even know what this is. This guy is, and he's pretty much running the government at this point. If you didn't know, Stephen Miller is basically the president. And I don't mean that satirically or sarcastically. He literally is basically running the government. Just listen to this guy.
We're a superpower, and under President Trump, we are going to conduct ourselves as a superpower. It is absurd that we would allow a nation in our own backyard to become the supplier of resources to our adversaries, but not to us, to hoard weapons from our adversaries, to be able to be positioned as an asset against the United States rather than on behalf of the United States.
Sovereign countries should be able to do what they want to do.
The Monroe Doctrine and the Trump Doctrine is all about securing the national interests of America. The future of the free world, Jake, depends on America.
Well, I don't like Jake Tapper, but my God, dude. Can you imagine sitting and listening to this fucking guy?
Being able to assert ourselves and our interests without apology. This whole period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling.
Hold on, Stephen Miller. That period after World War II, when the West was forced to apologize and grovel, who was that for? That was for, your people. Your people, Stephen Miller. That's why we had to do that. But we're not doing that anymore. This guy, I don't know, this fucking theater kid, this dude is a rough fucking listen.
And begging
I don't even know
these
honestly
vast
what you're talking
reparations
about right
schemes,
now.
What I'm talking about, Jake, is the idea. And by the way, you do. I know you love doing that smarmy thing, Jake, and I was hoping to be better than that this time.
I asked you about if there should be an election.
Exactly.
His question to Stephen Miller was, should Venezuela have an election? And this is the rant he goes on.
I asked you if there would be an election in Venezuela. That's what I asked. I said, why was the president so quick to dismiss Machado? You answered that question. And then I said,
the objective, Jake, is we're a superpower.
This guy, dude. Whoa. Guys, he's rough. And again, that dude's running the government. What do you guys think of Stephen Miller? Yeah. Oh, yikes, dude. Just the rant, like we have to, this is somehow all about protecting America and America's sovereignty, and that's why we have to go in and fuck up Latin America, which, keep in mind, guys, we've been fucking up Latin America for 60 years. This is not the first regime change in Latin America. We have regime changed, I think, over 30 regimes in Latin America in the last 50 years. All of those socialist and communist regimes that are in Latin America, like in almost every country, you guys know that that's because of us, right? That's because of the CIA. Like, we've literally overthrown all those governments and put in those people in power. We've been doing this forever in Latin America. Look at this. No, this channel is too common sense for you because you're a fucking retard. And you believe, no, it's good for America. It's good for America to invade its neighbors. Imperialism. I'm Stephen Miller. That guy's a Stephen Miller fan. You're fucking retarded. That doesn't make me a leftist because you're an idiot and you have a sub 80 IQ. Okay? Sorry, bud. That's not how this works. Now, I want you guys to see, this is a great graphic of why Venezuela matters. I found this and I was like, this guy nailed it. Great explanation for this. So I want you guys to watch this. It's not about narco-terrorism. It's not about countering China. It's not about countering Russia. It's not about big bad Maduro. This is pretty much graphically explains exactly why we're doing what we're doing.
America, the lies about oil stop here. Everything that you rely on runs on a system that was built decades ago, and the oil system is one of them. We're an oil powerhouse, but nobody explains to you who that system serves. It's not you. United States, we produce a lot of oil, but about 80% of it is the light crude, the yellow cups. Only about 20% is the heavy crude, the profitable stuff. That's the black cups. And here's the scam. Most U.S. refineries were never built for what we produce. They were designed deliberately decades ago to run on cheap foreign heavy crude because that's where the margins are. Take a look at the math. If I had $1,000, I could buy 16 barrels of American light. I could buy 21 barrels of imported heavy. 5 more barrels right out of the gate. More oil to work with. 25% cheaper. Heavy crude yields more diesel, more jet fuel, and more profit. That $1,000 of American makes me $160 versus $294 for the imported stuff. Same investment, same refinery, double the return. Once you build a machine that does that, you feed it. And that's why Venezuela matters. They've got the black cup oil. No, this is not about fentanyl and cocaine. That story collapses immediately. It's propaganda that insults our intelligence. The world's seen this story before. Saddam called Kuwait liberation, and no one bought it then. Different century, same motive. Absorb this, America. Saudi Arabia owns the largest refinery in the United States in Port Arthur, Texas. A foreign government controls the biggest refinery on American soil. So spare me the flag-waving energy speeches because this system isn't America first. It's profit first. When somebody tells me about energy independence, I know immediately they don't understand the system. We export the expensive stuff and import the cheap stuff. They could have modernized these refineries decades ago, but they didn't. because the old system pays better. Here's the truth. America stayed strong over the decades by leading an inclusive system and not by bullying or pretending we could dominate forever. China and the European Union are global powerhouses. The future is collaboration on green energy transitions. Oil companies could refine American oil here, no blockades, no conflict, but that cuts into margins. So instead, we're fed slogans like drill, baby, drill, and all that does is allow them to send more oil overseas. This isn't John Wayne or a steel cage match. The oligarchs are putting people at risk for money. If you can see the profits, see the conflict it creates, and ignore who gets sent to fight, then the facts aren't the problem, acceptance is. There is only one responsible choice left. Vote blue, because democracy, stability, and peace still matter.
All right, so that's where I'm going to... Great description there. I'm going to disagree with him on vote blue. That's not going to change anything. The Democrat Party is going to make sure all of that continues as well. Okay, this is uniparty, right? It's not difference between Republicans or Democrats. It's uniparty when it comes to massive oil conglomerates and stuff like that. But fantastic description of exactly how the entire oil industry works. And a big part of this is the logistics and the oil refineries and everything in Canada that has all that heavy crude that he was describing there. All of that's already built out. Okay. So what they're not probably going to do in Venezuela is go in there and, again, spend $500 billion. I think it was close to almost $1 trillion of investment into Canada to be able to refine all that oil. They're not going to go do the same thing down in Venezuela. What they're going to do with the Venezuela heavy crude is they're going to limit production. So they're actually going to cap it, reduce it, so that way all of the Canadian heavy that they already have set up will maximize profits, and it'll actually lower the amount of supply of heavy crude that's coming out from Venezuela, so that the systems that they already have in place can jack the profits up. So what does that mean? You are not going to see lower gas prices, but Chevron, Exxon, Mobil, and Shell are going to see higher profits. Yay. That's essentially what we're going to be looking at. Okay. And it is what it is. And here's Donald Trump talking about what we're going to be doing with this oil himself. And this was a James Lee. I always love a good James Lee clip. Here we go.
The point of invading Venezuela was so that China and Russia don't get the oil, right?
China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil
China and Russia? Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it.
Well, I thought the entire point of this was to counter China and Russia. But now we're just going to sell them the oil? Okay.
So wait a second. We're going to do a regime change in Venezuela to make sure we keep the bad guys out, to make sure China and Russia don't get their oil because, right, they are the bad guys and we are the good guys. But we're still going to sell the oil to the bad guys? What the hell is going on here? Check this out. Jaime Brito, an oil analyst at OPIS, said access to Venezuelan oil experts will, quote, be a game changer for U.S. Gulf Coast refiners in terms of profitability.
There it is.
Paul Singer, thanks to a well-timed transaction, will be one of the largest beneficiaries. And the question that I have, of course, is who the hell is Paul Singer? Well, it looks like Paul Singer is a prominent American financier and philanthropist known for his strong support of Israel and Zionist causes. Singer and the Paul E. Singer Family Foundation are behind the Philos Project, a pro-Israel Christian organization.
Look at that.
In 2016, Singer partnered with the Museum of the Bible to fund Passages Israel, a program to take college students to Israel. He is a, quote, longtime supporter of hawkish pro-Israel causes. Don't let them play you for a fool, okay? If we're seizing the oil only to sell it to our enemies in Moscow and Beijing, how is this an American victory? And to go back, so to speak, it honestly looks a lot like a globalist heist designed to drain yours and I's wallet and funnel all this wealth to the same international banking families and Zionist interests that have been dragging us into these foreign wars for decades.
Huh. Imagine that. It's not for America first. It's for the globalist agenda and our greatest ally. It's almost as if, you know, little quote from Trump that he didn't actually say, but it's funny. If I don't steal it, someone else will. Venezuela's oil was promised to Donald Trump 3,000 years ago. And, you know, I mean, sorry. that meme makes me laugh a lot. It's also insanely accurate. It's really, really accurate meme. I love an accurate meme that's funny. But also, let's take a look here. So these are the supporters of Trump's attack on Venezuela. Let's go down the list here. Nat Rothschild. Oh, the Rothschilds. Yes, they were putting out tweets about how amazing this is. I wonder why. Well, maybe because Venezuela is one of the last, I believe, 5 or 4 countries in the world that doesn't have a Rothschild-controlled central bank. So I'm sure that's going to be the first order of business, is making sure that changes. Let's see who else is the big supporters here. Bibi Netanyahu, of course, Lindsey Graham, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, Macron, Tom Cotton, Nikki Haley, Adam Kersinger, Ben Shapiro, Mark Levine, and Alan Dershowitz. Oh, and Laura Loomer, by the way. So that's the big supporters. So just something to think about. For those of you who are supporting this, that's the company you're going to keep. Okay, Rothschilds, Netanyahu, Ben Shapiro, Laura Loomer. That's your crowd, and that's fine. But just understand, if you ideologically are cheering this on, that's your camp, right? And you just need to know that for yourself, that these are the people who are, you're supporting and that are supporting this. So just something to think about. Now, as we move forward here, again, to my point, the vice president of Venezuela has already taken power. She's already said that she's going to continue to resist Trump. And Trump is now threatening her. And he's saying the new leader, Venezuela's leader, Delcy Rodriguez, will suffer a fate worse than Maduro if she doesn't work with the United States. So what are we going to do? We're going to go in there and we're going to schwack her. And then what? At some point, we got to figure out how we're going to get in charge. But let's see what Donald Trump has to say about how we're going to get in charge of this entire debacle. Because it seems like he's definitely, he's got it figured out.
Venezuela right now.
Don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
We're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
No, I haven't, but other people have.
Okay, so he's claiming he has not spoken to Venezuela's vice president, the person who's now in charge of the country. So keep that in mind for the rest of the clip.
At the right time, I will.
Do you see that pushback from Rodriguez and ultimately?
Well, I don't think there was pushback. I think that
she called it.
Well, you hear a different person than I hear.
Really? So you have spoken with him?
We talked to him, yeah.
Oh, now he has talked to the vice president. Well, that's weird.
Oh, you did speak with him.
They've been very good.
Because she called it kidnapping of Maduro.
It's all right. It's not a bad term.
Okay, so there you go. Kidnapping is not a bad term. So yes, Donald Trump says he's in charge of the government. He hadn't spoken to Venezuela's vice president, who's now the president, and then he has spoken to her. Again, to my point, I am one that's leaning towards the Maduro regime under the new vice president is probably going to work with the United States and basically just sell their country out. That's how I see it. I don't know how you guys may see it, but that's what it's looking like it's shaping up to be. Now you do have things like their defense minister calling that he's going to continue to fight. We don't know how true any of this stuff is, right? This could just be posturing. Same thing here. Defense Minister Pedrino added the U.S. violent, cowardly attack threatens regional peace and stability. We don't know if, again, this is just posturing. But what we do know is that we're essentially also threatening about 5 other countries now with the same fate. Cuba being one of them. And Cuba's President Miguel Diaz-Canel says, we are prepared to give blood for Venezuela. We'll see. We'll see, because again, Donald Trump is on a roll right now. He's basically threatening everyone. Let's see who: Mexico, Iran, Colombia, Cuba, Venezuela. What's the other one? Oh, Greenland, right? We're also going to invade and fuck up Denmark, I guess, a NATO ally. Guys, I don't know what happened here. Like, we are 6. Let's pause for a minute. It is January 6th. We are 6 days into the new year. We have kidnapped Venezuela's president, and we have threatened to invade to the same fate, I believe, 5 or 6 other countries, including a NATO ally, in 6 days. We are 6 days into the year, which is fucking crazy. And when you see this, guys, should make you very, very concerned. This is what's going on. Yes, Lindsey Graham, giant smile, thumbs up with his buddy Donald Trump with the signed "Make Iran Great Again" hat. So yes, I am not really I'm not psyched that Lindsey Graham is in Donald Trump's hip pocket as we're discussing invading like 7 different countries out of nowhere.
You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day, and everybody in the world is thinking different.
Why is Lindsey Graham on Air Force One with Donald Trump? Somebody want to explain that to me? How is this where we're at in 2026 with Donald Trump? This is like one of the biggest never-Trumpers ever. And now he's just Don's hip pocket guy because we're going to invade every fucking country?
Differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
Cuba is ready to fall.
Yes.
Cuba.
Well, this is not good, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about real shit that's happening in America and the world. Look at these 2 fucking guys. Giant smiles on their face. Listen to what they're fucking saying.
It looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
And here's more fucking countries.
Up to 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland.
Look at the smiles and laughs on these disgusting fucks' faces as they're talking about literally invading allied nations.
20 days. On Venezuela, we talk so much about energy. By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
I think it's a big communication.
You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added 1 more dog sled.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing in America here? What the fuck is, are you guys like me and looking around going like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? We just threatened to invade 7 different countries in the last 6 days. As Lindsey Graham is Donald Trump's hip pocket guy. What? How did we get here? Who the fuck that is part of MAGA is looking at this going, this is what you see it all the time. This is what I voted for. What? This is what you voted for? Keep in mind, the United States is not doing well. Our economy, not doing well. The labor market, not good. Housing market, absolute fucking disaster. Homeless crisis, fentanyl crisis, homeless veteran crisis. We got another 20 million people that just lost Medicaid. People can't afford to live. Average first-time homebuyer is 40 years old. Average homebuyer is 60 years old. Like, there's a lot of fucking problems in the United States right now. This is what we're doing? Threatening to invade 7 different countries? This is the focus? I feel like I'm crazy. Like, I'm losing my mind. I'm looking around when I look on social media, and every single one of these posts I see when Trump's talking about, like, we're going to invade Cuba, and the entire comment section is like, yeah, this is what I voted for. And it's like, it is? You voted for just like Zionist imperialism? It's not what I voted for. Well, I didn't vote for Trump, but I don't think it's what most of you voted for. But we also have Iran. Yes, Iran. Here you go. As the attack on Venezuela continues to unfold, the American empire is already preparing for its next regime change operation against Iran. Yeah. There you go. You got the, what was this? The Shah's son, I believe, Raza Pahlavi, spoke with the Washington Street Journal about Iranian protests, the role my compatriots are calling me to play, and what a free Iran will mean for the world. I've stepped into the lead this transition. It's about self-determination, freedom, rebuilding our country. Yes, another regime change war. Yay. We're going to get Netanyahu's guy in there. I mean, I hope you're being sarcastic. I hope this is sarcasm. I think this is sarcasm, right? This has got to be sarcasm, right? This can't be real. This has got to be satirical. There's no way this guy's serious. Maybe he is. I don't know. You would assume there's no way this guy's serious. Steve, I'm going to assume you're joking. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on that one. There's no way you're that stupid. All right. Now, before we jump into why we're not going to hand power over to the Venezuelan opposition party, you may be wondering, that's bizarre. Let's do some super chats too first before we fall too far behind. All right. I was on a little bit of a rant there. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. All right, we'll hit a couple super chats, and then we'll jump back into it and talk about why Marita Machado, who everybody thought would be the one chosen to be the opposition leader, has basically been told to go herself by Donald Trump. We'll talk about why here in a second. Let's hit some supers first. Dag Honey says, Nate double cheeked up on a Tuesday. All right. Why did we kidnap Dr. Disrespect? This is a hilarious meme. Poor Dr. Disrespect. If you guys don't know who Dr. Disrespect is, you probably won't get this joke, but I did see him, I believe it was on Instagram or Twitter, saying, please stop posting me in this because, yes, Maduro does look exactly like Dr. Disrespect in that Nike fit. Any chance this could be considered illegal orders? Dude, I don't know. I'm sure Congress is going to try to do something about it. They're not going to do anything. Nothing ever happens. So it is what it is. 1977 MJ Swift, $50 donor, no comment. Well, thank you very much for the generosity. It's So thank you. No comment though. Update: CAG and Night Stalkers are stealing valor. Rob and TK are suing. I don't know if you guys have seen all the Rob and TK memes regarding this, but they've been really funny actually. Put a few of them up on the Instagram. How long do you think the capture of Maduro was planned? I mean, like I said, high side intel apparatus work probably has been 5 years in the making, probably longer, 5-10 years. And the actual operation itself, they probably about a month, I would say. They've probably been planning it, would be my guess. Six's mom, thank you for always being here, Six's mom. Sorry, but it's funny that, or funny people think it's all sunshine and rainbows because he's gone. Always look back to see forward. The past explains everything. Everyone in the regime is still there now. China, Taiwan is scary. Aloha. Great point by Six's mom here. Do you guys know, I love to bring this up. Do you guys know when Saddam Hussein was removed from power in Iraq? Any history buffs? You know what year? Keep in mind, we're still at war there. Who's got it? Who's a history buff that's going to nail it? Come on. Somebody get it before the Googlers get in there. Not 2001. Nope. 03. There it is. Yes. Friendly reminder. We removed Saddam Hussein from power in 2003. 6 weeks into the war. We are still in Iraq. Nation building in 2026. Just as a reminder for how good we are at this. 23 years later, we haven't succeeded anything with regime change in Iraq. We've succeeded nothing in regime change in Libya. The closest we've got to success in regime change is in Syria, where we replaced Assad with the former leader of Al-Qaeda. That's our claim to fame at the moment for how good we are at regime change. So, yeah, we don't have the best track record in the world, to Six's mom's point. Halos fan says the capture of Maduro has nothing to do with narco trafficking. Correct. The contract that controls the flow of energy controls the economy. The dollar is under attack. We must control energy. Okay with me. Yeah, I mean, so some people have that take where, look, this is going to be a massive thing for the petrodollar, and that's going to, be a big strategic victory for the United States. If you believe that, then that's fine. I'm not even going to say that that's not necessarily true. I just don't know if in the long run, fucking up our neighbors and invading, sovereign countries that we are in our hemisphere and removing their leaders from power in the middle of the night, I'm not sure that's where the way we want to go to the point of what Six's mom said, China, Taiwan gets scary. If I'm China, me personally, if I'm China and I watch the United States do what we just did to Venezuela, I'm taking Taiwan in like 3 months. Because what's the United States going to do about it? We're not going to do jack shit. I promise you we're not. I know the plan because I was part of the unit that was in charge of preparing for it. We're not going to do anything about it. We're going to sanction China. And so if I'm China, I'm fucking taking Taiwan this year. And I'm doing it under the premise of exactly why the United States just did it. The Monroe Doctrine for the East. If I'm China, I go, fuck the United States. You want to play Monroe Doctrine? Okay, we're going to do a East Monroe Doctrine. We're just going to push you out of the South China Sea. We're going to take Taiwan, and then we're going to prep and potentially look at taking Japan by 2030. That's what I do if I'm China, because you set the precedence for this, Donald Trump. You've said it's okay to do. And China knows the United States, we cannot stop China from taking Taiwan, by the way. Like militarily, logistically, it's not possible. We have about 2 weeks worth of munitions to fight China off in the South China Sea and the Pacific. After that, we're out of bombs. We're out of missiles. And we don't have the manufacturing capability to backfill it. We can fight China for 2 weeks. And this has all been proved through war games. This is not my opinion. So if I'm China, Ukraine also cooked. If I'm Russia, I'm going, fuck it. Let's go scorched earth. The United States did. So again, it's scary, guys. Like, we are setting precedences that North Korea now can go, all right, let's fuck up South Korea. And no, we will not defend Taiwan. I can't tell you guys what it was in 2023 while I was still part of the unit. I can't tell you guys what the actual strategic plan was for the invasion, but I can give you subset things that are public domain, and that is what will happen if China invades Taiwan is we will organically destroy all the super chip manufacturing. The United States will destroy it all. We'll blow it up ourselves, and we will extract all the Taiwanese engineers and scientists that facilitate that super chip manufacturing. We'll bring them to America, and we will restart that super chip manufacturing in America. But we're not going to defend Taiwan. It's not going to happen. So for those of you who think we are, that's essentially the plan without going into anything, classified or anything like that. And so that's what's scary about this is if you're China, you go, all right, fuck it. Let's do it. What are you going to do about it, America? You fucked up Venezuela, which supplies us a shit ton of oil. Because if you're China, you're pissed now because you get a ton of that oil from Venezuela. Right? So again, guys, this is the second and third order effects to decision making on the grand scheme of foreign policy and foreign conflict. You don't get to just do one thing and there not have reverberations around the world. So anyway, good super chat so far, guys. Where did I go too far? We just got that one. All right, two more, and then we'll move back in the episode. So was the opposite giant sales pitch by the military industrial complex to the rest of the world? I don't know. Guys, again, I don't know. Again, the fact that we did have, as far as I understand it, a few Delta dudes hit. We did have, I believe, upwards of 80 plus people killed, Venezuelans killed. Makes me think that probably not completely coordinated, completely rehearsed, but it did seem very, very easy. But it could just be how good we are. Can you explain why they used Delta Force to do the raid instead of SEAL Team 6 like in the Osama raid? Sure. So there was actually a running joke on this on all the military meme pages. Sorry, still dealing with this respiratory thing, guys. You get a drink of water here. Right. So there was a meme actually going around that addressed this exact thing. Why would you use SEAL Team 6 instead of Delta? And I believe the meme said something like, if SEAL Team 6 would have been used, you would have had 2 helicopters crashed. You would have had everybody killed. You would have had the mission failed. And then you would have had 7 books written about it. Instead, you use Delta Force because they're actually professional. So that's what the meme said. I'm not calling shots on the SEALs, but that's what the meme said. So yeah, I mean, the reality is if you're going to do something this high level, you use Delta, right? It's just the way it goes. That's why they didn't crash a helicopter, probably. But yeah, anyway, that's the memes. All right. Off topic. We disagree on a lot about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, and I've done a few vids on that, but I wanted to give you props on keeping it real with Mitch Snow. Here's some drink money. Respect. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Shoulder mount heat-seeking missiles now ready. Yeah. All right, a couple more, and then we're jumping back into it. I'm America first, but do not support that dictator and only the two or three things Trump has actually done. But this op was sick as fuck. Love how cool our military is. America first. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys, is we can disagree with the policy decision to do this and also be wildly impressed with how badass our country's military is. And there is some things to be said about this. The rest of the world wakes up and looks at this and goes, holy fuck. Yeah, the United States ain't fucking around. The United States can straight up yank our goddamn president out of his bed in the middle of our country, and there's nothing people can do about it. There's some posturing with that that's, from a superpower type of thing. But again, not sure it's great for us overall. All right, let's jump back into it. Let's see. Talk about opposition, right? The opposition leader of Venezuela, which is Maria Machado. Everybody thought, okay, well, I mean, she's the opposition leader. She's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Why would you not just put her? Let's
Of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
keep in mind they did not even talk to the Venezuelan opposition party's leader before they tried to regime change. Just something to think about.
Do you have any hesitations about Machado?
Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be the leader.
Aware of the location of opposition.
Okay, so Donald Trump says Machado just doesn't have the respect. She doesn't have respect to be able to lead the country. Well, it turns out we know that's not true. The reason why Donald Trump has basically scorned Maria Machado is because he's pissed off that, and it says here, White House officials have said that the reason Trump did not back Maria Machado for president of Venezuela is that she accepted the coveted Nobel Peace Prize, an award Trump felt he was entitled to. Yes, Trump, who has now broken the record, the presidential record of any U.S. president, just broke it for the most countries bombed in 1 year. Yes. The same guy who's pissed, the same guy who broke the record for most countries bombed is mad she didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize. But don't worry, she's a fucking grifter. And so now she's offering it. This is how ridiculous this shit is, right? She's actually offering Donald Trump her Peace Prize.
Did you at any point offer to give him the Nobel Peace Prize? Did that actually happen?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, but I certainly would love to be able to personally tell him that we believe the Venezuelan people, because this is a prize of the Venezuelan people, certainly want to give it to him and share it with him. What he has done, as I said, is historic. It's a huge step towards a democratic transition.
Did you?
So now, here's the thing, guys. Our world leaders know they've learned from the FIFA Peace Prize, from Netanyahu giving Trump the new Israel Peace Prize. All you have to do is offer Trump some type of fake peace prize, and that's how you get him to do what you want. And so now she's literally offering Donald Trump her peace prize, her Nobel Peace Prize, in hopes that she'll become the next president of Venezuela. And who is she? Who is Maria Machado, you may be asking? Well. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Exactly what everybody would have accepted. And what's her first order of business if she takes power of Venezuela? She's announced is, after Trump oust Venezuelan president, opposition targets their very first move the Venezuelan embassy to Jerusalem. That's their first move. Her first move as president. Really? You don't have, like, you're talking about Venezuela, you know, the country that's been impoverished and living under this dictator for 27 years. You don't have more important things to do as your first order of business for your fucking country than to move your embassy to Jerusalem? Really? That's your first order of business? That's going to be the new leader? Really? Well, yeah, of course it is. Because guess who told us to do this? This is really where it all boils down to. This was 3 days before the raid.
Well, they're in cahoots with the Maduro regime. You know, they're exporting terrorism to America, to the American hemisphere, and then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their guys into the United States. So Hamas and Iran's and its proxies are a threat not only to us, but to Israel, all America's allies in the Middle East, and to America itself.
So there you go. Yes, Hezbollah and Hamas fighters in Venezuela are the biggest threat to the United States. Am I Hamas and Hezbollah Venezuelan fighters? What are we talking about here? Why is Netanyahu even fucking weighing in on this? You are in the Middle East. Why are you even talking about what's happening with America and Venezuela, dude? Why is this guy always weighing in on whatever is happening in the United States? I don't understand what's going on. I kind of do. I do understand what's going on. But it's just like, no matter what fucking happens in this country, it's always that motherfucker right behind us yapping about it. You know? Okay. Also, by the way, a couple more. We're talking about, we're going to invade Colombia. Why not?
And I hope he's listening. He's going to be next.
Have you considered talking to the president of Colombia, who you call a drug dealer?
No, I haven't really thought too much about him. He's been fairly hostile to the United States. And I haven't given him a lot of thought. He's going to have himself some big problems if he doesn't wise up. Colombia is producing a lot of drugs. They have cocaine factories that they make cocaine, as you know, and they sell it right into the United States. So he better wise up, or he'll be next.
There you go. He'll be next. So again, we're going to invade Cuba. We're going to invade Colombia. What's the other one? Oh yeah, we're also. Yep. After deposing Maduro, President Trump said on Fox News, something's going to have to happen with Mexico. So there you go. We got to start a regime change war with Mexico as well. So yeah, I mean, there you go. Like this is what we're doing. This is like George W. Bush on fucking all the steroids in the world, dude. How did this happen? How did we get here in 2026? What was the campaign run on? No more regime change wars. No more wars in general. No more wars for oil. No more wars for raping natural resources. Accountability for Epstein. That was the entire campaign. What the fuck what are we doing here? We're just in full on imperialism? Cool, I guess. Let's see what Trump admin has to say about this. Now, I want to be very clear. Very clear. Let me be very, very clear. I want to be very, very clear when I say this. Pete Hegseth, I can promise you, had absolutely nothing to do with the planning, preparation, or success of this mission. I can promise you. Do not get it twisted to think that he was somehow in charge and facilitating all of the fucking amazing planning, preparation, and execution of this mission. This was done by the absolutely insanely talented military itself below him. All right. We all understand that, right? I want to be very, very clear before we give any credit to Pete Hegseth for strategic victory on this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He was allowed to be in the room, Kabe, for the photo ops, but as long as we all understand, these were high-level generals and actual talented military officials that pulled this off. Not that motherfucker. Okay. Good. I just really want to drill that home. Now, let's listen to what he has to say about what's going to happen next.
Questions about what happens next in Venezuela. The president said today that the U.S. is going to be running the country. What does that look like? Does that mean
We're going to see Americans on the corners of Venezuela, in the government of Venezuela. Are you prepared to have troops on the ground in Venezuela?
Well, it means we set the terms. President Trump sets the terms.
That means nothing, by the way. He said nothing.
And ultimately, he'll decide what the iterations are of that. But it means the drugs stop flowing.
How? What drugs? The drugs flow to Europe.
It means the oil that was taken from us is returned.
What oil was taken from us? It's not our oil. It's Venezuela. They're a sovereign country.
Ultimately, and that criminals are not sent to the United States. It means that foreign countries don't have a lodgment inside our hemisphere. So ultimately, we're going to control what happens next.
How? How are you going to do that?
Because of this brave decision, President Trump has shown American leadership, and he'll be able to dictate where we go next.
So there you go. He said fucking nothing. Literally nothing. Nothing was said there. Do we understand that was word salad? Right? The question is, what comes next in Venezuela? Well, Trump sets the terms, and then there will be no more drugs. Like, okay, explain how, dude. But we got to get some comedic relief. Okay? Because again, we'll lose our minds at some point. That's why we always have comedic relief on the show. Little Godfrey comic on this, talking about Pete Hegseth.
We took over Venezuela. They effed around and they found out.
He effed around and he found out.
Why does Peter Hegseth not scare me? Why does Peter Hegseth not scare anybody? He's always trying so hard to be the tough guy.
Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't.
What is that? I just don't get it. He's always trying hard to be the tough guy. Why are all of these dudes in the Trump administration trying to be tough guys? Have you noticed that? They're like one of those douchebag fraternities in those movies, you know, like in the 80s, where the guy has the sweater wrapped over his shoulders and he's like, listen, now, we're part of Kappa Kappa Chi's. You come to Kappa Kappa Chi's, you better straighten up or ship out. Oh, he's like a 80s bully. Right? What is that? Every time he talks, he tries so hard to be tough. I feel like Danger Zone is playing behind him. Right into the danger zone. They came into the danger zone and they're f***ing with a Maverick. He comes with the worst punchlines. He should just turn around and go like this. They came and we f***ed around and we kicked their What? Not today, Maduro. Oh no, amigo. Watch it. Muy malo, asshole. And that's the end. Bang, bang. So
everybody who is in the military, you guys all know this company commander. You guys all know this major, right? Who comes in, like he's going to give the speech to the company, right? Like he's non-ranger tabbed. He's got no combat experience. He's going to show up to the company right before the deployment, and he's going to give that badass halftime like coach speech, right? Like, all right, brothers, all right, here's we're gonna bring it, and we're gonna close with, and we're gonna destroy the enemy because we're fucking commandos, boys. And just like everybody in the platoons just like looking at each other like, oh my God, dude. Like in the second he fucking walks out of the office, the platoon sergeant's like, guys, I know he's the fucking biggest douche in the world, but like we gotta, hey, look, he's who we got. Okay, we gotta respect him because he's the commander. All right, you know, like everybody who served in the military, especially in combat arms, knows who fucking Pete Hegseth is. They know who that he's, that non-ranger tabbed fucking commander that's never seen combat, that's here to give you the badass war speech. And everybody's just like the E3 with 2 combat deployments, and the 82nd is just like, fuck, dude. God, shut the fuck up, sir. Right? We all know it, dude. We know it. Okay, we get it. We know who he is. Right? To Gilbert Godfrey's point. All right, that was probably pretty rough. That was a pretty rough roast of Pete Hegseth. It's true. We all know it's true, but it is what it is. What it is. Excuse me. Oh God. I'll probably get in trouble for that. That's okay. All right, who's supporting this though? Yes, the Rothschilds. We talked about this. Well done, Donald Trump. And then yes, somebody asked, "Hey, Grok, does Venezuela have a Rothschild central bank?" Grok says, "No, the central bank of Venezuela is 100% state owned." Not anymore. It's probably fucking not. Ben Shapiro, of course. Gotta love it. President Trump had the stones to do it. The same isolationist right that said only Globo Homo would oppose Maduro was dead wrong. Wasn't Globo Homo who took him out. It was conservative Republican president with guts. Donald Trump's not a conservative. He's a fucking probably a liberal Zionist at best. Trump made a bold call to protect America's national security interests in the Western Hemisphere and undercut our enemies, Russia, China, Iran, and Cuba. This was an audacious move. Yes. Thank you, Ben Shapiro, for giving us your amazing take on fucking American military operations. A guy who got knocked out by a fucking punching bag in college when he finally tried to punch something. Yeah, no, we're good, Ben. We're going to probably not listen to whatever your take is on foreign policy. But don't worry, guys. It gets even fucking weirder because this is MAGA. And again, I told you guys who supports this. Forever, all the MAGAs in the chat. This is you guys. Here we go.
They say you have seized Venezuela for the oil. Yes, this is true that there is that which has been brought to the forefront of this earthly battle. But the enemy has sought and was seeking to bring war and to bring conflict through Venezuela and to control the oil of the earth. But the spiritual oil and the natural oil does not belong to the forces of darkness or to those who thought that they could bring a...
This is real, by the way. This is a MAGA pastor. So I know you guys are going, what the fuck is happening? This is real.
One world order. This is my reset. And the oil of the natural and the oil of the spirit is mine, says the Lord. They say you have seen.
So that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. That's real. That's a MAGA Christian Protestant pastor. I just. Oh my God, dude. Dick Cheney is just rock hard in his grave right now, guys. Just bricked up. Him and Donald Rumsfeld and Saddam Hussein all just in hell right now, just bricked to the fucking gills. Just like, yes, yes, war for oil. God's oil. It's God's oil. I mean, this is real. That's real. That's a mega pastor. A Christian Zionist mega pastor. It's just, oh my God, man. It's out of control. All right. Okay, we moved out. We're pretty much done with Venezuela. Okay, we got to get past that. All right. So now we're gonna get into the final part of the show on our Tuesday lives. We're gonna talk about couple influencers, not influencers, Trump administration influencers, what they got going on. Democrats, Republicans, our greatest ally, and we'll get out of here. Okay. But I wanted to show you guys this meme first because this really sums it up. I think this is America in a nutshell. I saw this meme and I was like, wow, this is literally our country right here, guys. Just two sides. Left wing, right wing, same bird, which is, yeah, you got the Republicans up here with the little MAGA hat, Project 2025, of course, controlled by Israel, dropping bombs with the cross in the back, Palantir here. And then if you vote Democrat, you get the same B-1 bomber, Black Lives Matter, controlled by Israel. Yes, she can. Bombs being dropped. Little rainbow flag. Exact same fucking thing. With just a different wrapping paper on it. But I just thought that was great. And of course, we get some comedy in here, okay? A little comedic relief. We love anything with Tim Dillon, but it's also relevant. This is we're being pushed for. We're being pushed to this. We're all being pushed to this, I feel like. And Tim really nails it.
I'm now with Iran. Iran's against them. I'm with Iran now. You've pushed me into the bosom of Iran. Do you understand that? I'm going to Tehran to do their comedy festival. I don't care. I'm being pushed into the arms of Iran. Those types of Muslims. What are those ones called? Shia. I'm Shia now. I was going to be Sunni. I think Saudi is Sunni and Iran is Shia. Right? Yes? Maybe? I'm Shia now. Shiite? Right?
Shia.
That's what I am now because you've done this to me. You fired me and created a Shia problem. I'm a Shiite problem now, biatch. So...
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like the fact that we all know our greatest ally, the Zionist movement, is literally making all of us Tim Dillon, right? We're all Tim Dillon now. Like, yeah, you know what? Didn't think I'd find myself here, but I guess I support Shia Iran now. You know what I mean? Like, he's not wrong. It's gotten so ridiculous. Yeah, I'm a Shiite Muslim now. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shia. Shia Shalom. I mean, Tim's not wrong there. All right. Now, we got to keep with the comedy. All right. This is a little comedy section. Cash Patel's back at it. And what he have to say? Yes, dismantling public corruption is a top priority of our leadership team here. We've worked day and night on that mission and will continue to do so until justice is done. By the way, you guys realize we arrested Nicolas Maduro out of his bed in Venezuela before we arrested a single fucking person on the Epstein list. Do you guys realize that? We've arrested the fucking president of a foreign country before even a single person on the Epstein files list has been arrested. Not one. How is this possible? How is this possible? Well, we did it. Don't worry. Again, we're not about to release the rest of the Epstein files. I guess we just said fuck it. But guys, I got to show you this. Dan Bongino, last day at the FBI. He's come out swinging, guys. Did you guys see this? Did you guys see Dan Bongino's message to the world? Message to America First? I'm going to show you guys. I can't believe the audacity of this fucking guy. Here he comes. Yes, Dan Bongino announced he's declared war on grifters attempting to hijack MAGA. Let's go. And even Dan says, look at the tough guy. Look at the scowl. And he says himself, you're damn right I did. Dan Bongino declares war on black pillars and grifters trying to hijack MAGA. Wow. Dan Bongino's declaring war on America First. Oh no. Not Dan Bongino. Oh my God. Could you imagine? We are just shaking in our fucking jeans right now. The guy who was going to bring corruption to its knees gets in there, and what's his first order of business, we found out? Helping redact the Epstein files. I'll do whatever I can to help you guys redact the Epstein files. That was before he ever got fucking sworn in. And he's going to declare war on America First. Okay, buddy. Why don't you just pray to fucking God that you can get your podcast back up off its fucking... I mean, he'll have the Fox News boomer crowd that'll follow him, but I mean, like, the audacity of that guy. After doing nothing but redacting the Epstein files, he's going to declare war on us? Really, guy? Okay. Why don't you fucking calm down? But also, another attack on America First. Yes. America's whipping boy is here to let us know he's attacking anti-Israel influencers. Oh, Matt must have really got spanked by Ben Shapiro for this one. Well, to get him to do this.
Walsh just roasted anti-Israel influencers in one of the harshest, maybe
this guy, the 7K fucking little douchebag himself, but
the most fiery videos I've seen from him in a long time. Take a look.
Not all, but a significant amount of the division on the right and really in the culture generally has been coming from over the past year. And a lot of it has not been coming from Americans. It has come, much of it, from foreigners posing as American citizens.
By the way, he's claiming all the accounts on Twitter that are posing as right-wing influencers, those are all MAGA influencers that are all from India and Nigeria, by the way. Matt, little whoopsie on that one. That's not America First. There's no Nigerian American First Twitter accounts. It's the fucking MAGA accounts, bud.
From foreigners posing as Native Americans, from foreigners posing as Republicans, from foreigners posing as Democrats. In short, the division has been coming from foreigners. So we'll start with
No, Matt. The division has come from pissed off fucking Americans that are sick and fucking tired of you and Ben Shapiro and the fucking Zionist movement and all the America Last bullshit. That's who we are. Not foreigners, bud.
With an account called Israel Exposed, which, as the name implies, is fixated on the state of Israel. This is a big account. It has nearly 200,000 followers. This is another thing is a lot of these accounts have a lot of followers. These are big accounts. And to give you just one example of the kind of content this guy is putting out, he posted this reply just a month ago in response to a random person who criticized him. He said, quote, "You are a Zionist pretending to be an American patriot. We should deport you." This is a common attack line, which you'll see all over the place.
Which we say that about Ben Shapiro, and we mean it, by the way.
Part of a constant, relentless effort to make Israel the subject of every discussion on the right.
Well, now, I would ask Matt, why is Israel on every discussion on the right? Why is that? I don't know. Maybe because it's shoved down our fucking throats nonstop. Maybe because Benjamin Netanyahu just showed up to the White House for the 5th fucking time in 11 months to beg for 78 billion more fucking dollars. Maybe because we can't fucking escape it. Maybe because there's a genocide going on that everybody's pissed off about. Maybe it's because we just offered to build Israel another $7.8 billion in Boeing F-35s. I don't know. Maybe because it's just constant. Maybe that's why the conversation is happening. I don't think it's that hard to fucking figure out about why that conversation is happening. But Matt seems to be a little bit confused by it. I wonder why. Doesn't have anything to do with Ben Shapiro. But by the way, one more as we're going to talk shit about Matt. The right-wing grifter sphere, as he's calling us grifters, by the way, it's the only place where you can look like this and still act like a tough guy. This is Matt Walsh, by the way. If you guys didn't know, yes, this is Matt Walsh without a beard. Tough guy, alpha male Matt Walsh. Turns out, no, Matt. Turns out, no, buddy. You are not who you are pretending to be. You look. Yeah, I mean, you kind of look like a little bit of a Ben Shapiro here. I think you might be a little bit of a, yeah. I think he may have been hiding this entire time. Oh, yes, way. That's him, ladies and gentlemen. Tough guy, alpha male Matt Walsh. Turns out, I think you might just be a little bit of a psyop yourself, buddy. Oy vey, as somebody said, is absolutely right. So calm down, Matt Walsh. No, we're actually concerned about what's going on in this country and exactly what we're talking about for very good reason. All of us are. Uh-oh. Shit. I just had Brent Tucker Brent Tucker just texted me and said, "You didn't read my super chat. You're dead to me." All right, hold on. What did Brent super chat us and we missed it? I'll have to find it. He's mad at me now. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, Brent says, "How dare you do this without me? Happy New Year, America." First of all, let me make something real clear, because I'm sure Brent's in the chat right now. He's just super chatted it. Do you know who texts my good friend Brent Tucker? Delta Force operator Brent Tucker, and said, "Hey, buddy, you know what'd be super cool is if we could do a live together and you could tell all of our audience about how you think this may have been done." Yeah, that was me that reached out to Brent Tucker, my good friend, and asked him to be a part of this live. And then you know what he decided to do? His own live on it without me. Okay. Okay, Brent. So he says it's okay. I still love you. So I asked Brent to be a part of this. He's a busy man. But you should watch his episode on it if he does one, because obviously he's going to know way more than I do. But we love Brent here. But I did fucking ask him to be a part of this, by the way. Don't let him fucking trick you. Don't let him trick you. Okay. We love Brent, though. All right. Let's get back to it. I wish he would have come on for this, because I would have much rather had him explain it to us than me. All right, let's get into Democrats, guys. Democrats. There's a lot going on with Democrats, and there's no way we can't talk about this to kick it off. Tim Walz dropped out of the governor race, by the way. So there's this. He threw in the towel, so for everybody. Look, the whole Nick Shirley thing, I know a lot of people, he's getting attacked as being a 7K club guy and all of that. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure when it comes to fraud in Minnesota, if you drop out of the governor race, this kind of makes me feel like you probably Brent says get back to work. You probably are guilty of something, right? You don't just like throw in the towel and be like, yeah, I know there's all this fraud. I had nothing to do with it. But also at the same time, I am rescinding my name out of the race. Yeah, probably not, buddy. Probably not. I think it's probably a good chance that this guy, he's going to be in deep shit as the investigation goes forward. Now, I want to show you guys this. This is super cringe. But let's watch it anyway. Fuck it. I can't play that song. Yikes. Here's ours. I think she's rated the worst governor in the fucking country, by the way. Oh my God. Oy vey to that one. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we need Democrat governors. I mean, maybe it's hard to say. A lot of the Republicans won't earn any better, but not you, Tim Walz. I think Tim Walz is struggling. He's struggling right now. Excuse me. Now I want to show you guys this as we're in our Democrat section here. A new 2028 primary poll from Aegis, and this is going to blow your mind. This is the Democrat side of things. I don't know how this is possible, but this is a thing. The new 2028 primary poll, ages 18 to 29. So Gen Z Democrats have Kamala Harris as a 53% favorite over Walz, Newsom at 11, AOC at 8%. What is wrong with Democrats? What? And guys, you guys know we're a very independent, politically homeless channel here. But Democrats in the chat, we got plenty of Democrats in the chat. What is wrong with you? How is Kamala Harris your choice? What is going on? Now, I'm not saying like anybody's necessarily much better, right? But like Newsom, AOC, like I feel like those are way better choices if you're a Democrat than the one person you know can't win. How is she a 53% favorite? Democrats, what are you guys doing over there, man? That's in ages 18 to 29, right? With the young demographic, which to me is weird. You would think that would be AOC, right? But I mean, maybe this is why. Maybe this is why they like her. Let's see what she's got to say. This is pretty recent.
We have so many stars in our party. There are so many stars.
Just drunk as fuck. You got to appreciate that about Kamala.
And let's not be afraid of them. You talk about Mamdani. I mean, he's exciting this group of people who otherwise don't think of themselves as being aligned or a part or even seen by the system. You just look at the range of what we have. So many. Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, what? You're talking about talent.
Who I just talked to recently. I mean, we have so many stars. We have so many.
Here's the thing, though, is that's actually not true. The Democrat Party is struggling from having no stars. And in fact, I would say there are only two that you could justify as like stars within their own party. And that is Gavin Newsom and AOC. That's it. There is no one else who has any charisma. And again, I don't agree with AOC and Newsom on basically anything, but from a charisma standpoint, from like a captivating, getting people out to vote in their own party, Bernie, okay, Bernie's another one. Bernie AOC, and Talarico's good too. But I mean, we're talking about stars, right? But neither does the Republican Party, guys. They really don't. Like once Trump's gone, it's going to be a fucking vacuum. JD Vance, like what did I've been catching up on my Gen Z what would you call it, guys? What's like the content creation space with like Clavicular and Neon and Sneeko and all those people? What's that called? Is there something they call that? Like, is there like a content creation space that they call that? There's something like that, right? Where it's like the I forget what their space is called with like Aiden Ross and all these people. Sorry guys, I'm old. I'm 40. What's their live streaming that they do? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's huge. They do like massive numbers over there. Streamers, yeah. Though they do like the live streams, not like we're doing here, but like where they go and just do weird shit. I've been trying to like catch up on that and like figure out what's going on. But you had Clavicular, he's one of these new ones that's like a Nick Fuentes type, and he was just on Michael Knowles' show talking about JD Vance running against Gavin Newsom, and he was explaining. Clavicular mentioned on, hey, he's in a generational run if I'm talking about him. And he's talking about how JD Vance can't win because his horizontal face to vertical ratio is off. He's too fat. He's morbidly obese. Like he's subhuman, all these different things. And then you got Gavin Newsom, who's 6'3" Chad, all this crazy shit, right? I know it's crazy, guys. Again, this is Gen Z speak. But to that point with Republicans, we don't have any stars either. JD Vance is not a star at all. JD Vance has got no charisma. He ain't going to get it done. And who? Marco Rubio? Lil Marco? Guy's as big as a lampshade. Like he ain't going to be it. So like I'm not trying to beat up on the Democrats too much from having no stars, but like neither side has any real stars where you're like, that's somebody that's going to be the next candidate, in my opinion. Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe not. We'll have to see. But weird shit going on. Here's Gavin Newsom, California. I don't know if you guys saw this. California's new law. Puppies can't be sold, but you can still alter kids' genitals. So yes, it turns out some new law Gavin Newsom is putting forward that signed a law. We're banning the sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits under the age of 12 months. Now, I'm not a big fan of the puppy mills type things, right? But you can't. 12 months? 12 months? 12 months is a full-grown fucking dog. You're supposed to be getting a puppy at around 10 weeks. 10 to 12 weeks is the appropriate time because you don't want them completely integrated into their family, right? When they're a year old, now you're stripping them out of like their actual family. So that's weird. So I am a fan of like banning the puppy mills because I think those are gross, but still very, very bizarre that like this is the type of laws and legislation that Gavin Newsom is putting forward where like I can't buy a puppy until it's 12 months old, but I can have my kids sex changed, like surgeries. That ain't it. All right, let's move into this real quick, and we're almost done with Democrats. If you haven't seen this is big drama. So Hegseth to demote Senator Mark Kelly from retired Navy rank as captain, however, will not put him on trial. You guys remember seeing this? And Mark Kelly had a response that I want to talk about this once I read the response here. It says, Mark said, if Pete Hegseth, the most unqualified Secretary of Defense, I love how he slided it and didn't say Secretary of War. That's what I always do to him too. In our country's history, thinks he can intimidate me with a censure or threats to demote me or prosecute me, he still doesn't get it. I will fight this, everything I've got, not for myself, but to send a message back to Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump. They don't get to decide what Americans in this country get to say about their government. I want to be very, very clear about this because, yes, Pete Hegseth is deciding to demote Mark Kelly from his military rank. By the way, he's retired out of the military at this point. Because why? Because he had the audacity to come out and say that you should not follow illegal orders. Now, I've said before on the channel, when I saw the Democrats come out and do that, Mark Kelly and Jason Crow and all those fuckers, I thought it was obnoxious. Okay. When they did it, I thought it was stupid. It was political. However, nothing Mark Kelly said was seditious. Nothing he said, I thought it was douchey, but nothing he said was illegal, seditious. He told troops, don't follow illegal orders. That is like telling service members, remember to like drink water. Got it. So the fact that Pete Hegseth is going to demote, which also includes drop in benefits, drop in pays, a retired, keep in mind, Mark Kelly, I don't agree with him politically. I don't like him. I would never vote for him. However, he is a fellow combat veteran and a highly fucking decorated one, by the way, multiple Valor Awards, massive, insane career, insane resume, amazing service. Will not fucking take this away from him because I'm conservative and he's a Democrat and I don't agree with him politically and I don't like him. That doesn't matter to me. He served this nation valorously for over 25 fucking years. And Pete Hegseth is going to demote and punitively punish veterans, retired veterans, because they say something he doesn't like. Fuck you, Pete Hegseth. You don't understand the precedence that's setting. That means someone like me, when I do an episode and I criticize Pete Hegseth, he can just fucking drag me in and demote me. That's just a massive attack on freedom of speech. Because again, there's nothing Mark Kelly said. Again, I think it was douchey what he did. There's nothing what he said that was illegal. Nothing that he said that would bring any punitive punishment when it comes to the military. That is a horrible fucking precedent for this administration to be setting on veterans, combat veterans, retired veterans. I don't care if he's a staunch Democrat or a leftist. As Americans, we should say absolutely fucking not, Pete Hegseth. Absolutely fucking not, Trump administration. We cannot set the precedent that we are going to punitively punish veterans for their speech. Fuck you, Pete Hegseth. Fuck you for that. Clip that, send it everywhere. I don't care. because that is total fucking bullshit to be doing to veterans. And again, I'm not a supporter of Mark Kelly at all, but it's bullshit. 4 times, yeah, and he was a fucking astronaut, right? Like, Mark Kelly's military service is way up here compared to fucking even mine by a lot. So we should definitely respect that. And also the First Amendment, like, it's important, and it's super important for our veterans, because Mark Kelly went and fought the war. He fought for his own right to freedom of speech. So we should probably not start going down that road, because also think about it this way. Is this really the precedent that conservatives want to set? What happens when Democrats take control of the government in 4 years? You think they're just going to not respond to that? I would, if I was them. I want justice. I mean, hopefully when the administration changes, they'll reinstate his rank, which I'm sure they will. But all Americans should be denouncing that. Right, left, center. Okay? This is somebody who fought the wars on behalf of this country. He has the right to say what he wants. His wife got shot in the fucking head over political violence. Again, a little bit passionate about this one. Because again, even somebody that is polar opposite of me politically, who I do not like personally, is still someone that I'm going to defend. Because that's absolutely atrocious to see what's happening to him. Okay, anyway. Gets me passionate, man. I do not like seeing veterans fucked with by the government. Doesn't matter, again, whether I'm on their team politically or not. It's not okay. All right, let's move into Republicans real quick, okay? And we got to start with this. Yes, Donald Trump making big waves. Turns out he's broken the record. We talked about it earlier. The first U.S. president to bomb 7 countries in 1 year. Yes. The president of peace, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking records. He's got the FIFA World Peace Prize, the Israeli Peace Prize. He's about to get Maria Machado's Nobel Peace Prize, and all he had to do to earn it was break the record for most countries bombed in 1 year. You love to see it. Another one I want to take a look at. When I try to figure out like who is still supporting this, I saw this clip and I went, oh, that's right. These are those people.
She knows, and I know she knows.
Turn that off. Probably get copyrighted. These are outlet stores. Look at this. This is real. That's wild. Those are real people, by the way. But the good news is, Trump is claiming that his real approval rating is 64%. Now, most polls show him in between 36 to 38%, but he has let us know that it's actually 64%. Very, very impressive stuff. Very, very impressive stuff. He also just had, oops, sorry guys, I accidentally closed that. He also just had his health screening. And I wanted to show you guys this. This is amazing. Donald Trump says here, the White House doctors have reported that I am in perfect health, all caps, and that I aced, meaning was correct on 100% of the questions asked, for the 3rd straight time, my cognitive exam. Why has Donald Trump taken 3 Alzheimer's exams? That's a little concerning, but okay. something which no other president or previous vice president was willing to take. Yes, they didn't need to take dementia tests, but I digress. P.S. I strongly believe that anyone running for president or vice president should be mandatorily forced to take strong, meaningful, proven cognitive exam. Again, these are dementia tests that he's taking. Our great country cannot be run by stupid or incompetent people. President Donald J. Trump. Why do they keep making him take dementia tests? I'm asking you guys. Why do they keep making him take dementia tests? His own party. It seems a little concerning. But don't worry. If you guys are concerned about what's going on with the country, Netanyahu came out and said he and Trump are perfectly in sync on Iran. And what does that mean? Yes, I'm sure we will be bringing back Iran 2.0, Iran Electric Boogaloo. We talked about this on the end of the year stream and our predictions. I thought for sure probably within 2026 we would see this. It's probably going to be a lot sooner than I thought. Especially with what's going on in Iran right now with the revolution. We don't know how organic that actually is. Hopefully, Iran gets their shit together and maybe they overthrow their own government peacefully with their own people. It doesn't look like that's actually what it is, but don't worry, we'll probably help facilitate that. What else has Trump got going on? Yes, while you can't afford groceries, Donald Trump is building the Arc de Trump. Construction is reportedly set to start within 2 months. Yes, he's building an ark to himself. Fantastic. You got to love this guy. Renaming the Kennedy Center after himself. Building the arcs to himself. Absolutely amazing. Threatening to invade every country. At what point? I don't know. Here's what I was thinking, guys. I was hoping as we moved into 2026, I've been very, very critical of Trump for a long time. Much longer than most America First people. I can confidently say that. You can look back at my content on that one. I was hoping going into 2026, we were going to see a shift. We were going to see improvement. We were going to see focus on the economy. We were going to see focus on the labor markets. We were going to see like a renewed focus going into the 2026 midterms. I thought obviously Republicans are going to get blown out, but maybe we were going to have a policy shift to try to combat that. I was wrong. 6 days in, and it turns out we are full on fuck it as Trump right now, to where we're just Israel first, bomb everyone, fuck the country, accept it. That feels like the actual policy, 2026 policy. It's not what I was hoping. Yeah. Joe says he's 80. Yeah, that's another problem. And I was just telling my wife this in the car earlier, guys. We were talking about how crazy everything is. And I reminded my wife, I was like, we are 1 year into this, guys. I hate to make you all panic and have sheer stress in your hearts. We are 1 year into this term. We're 12 months in to 48 months, ladies and gentlemen. That is horrifying to think about. Think about how much could happen in 3 years with what we've seen in the last 12 months and the last 6 days. Imagine what 36 more months of this could turn into. I'm actually pretty fucking scared in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't see any pivot towards pulling this back towards any semblance of America first. Even it's like they're just saying fuck it to the midterms. They're like, we don't even care. Somebody said you're assuming it's over in 6. This is a great point too. You make it be much longer than that. We don't even know. Bet you voted for it. Joe Blow, new to the channel, doesn't realize. Luckily, Nate has a perfect voting record of having never voted for Donald Trump in any of the 3 elections. So fucking suck it, buddy. Good try. Doesn't work here. You can check my voting records. Did not vote for Trump in any of the 3 elections. Not 2016, not 2020, not 2024. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. That's 10 years. Been proved right. You think I'm a Dem because I don't support Donald Trump? Here's another dumb fucking person right here. Just a fucking idiot. You realize just because you don't support a shitty politician, that doesn't automatically make you the other political party. Like, I would say the overwhelming majority of the people watching this right now, most of the people watching are conservative who do not support MAGA. And in fact, that's a huge percentage of the conservative movement now. Is people who are conservative who do not support Trump. And that does not make them Democrats. In fact, most actual conservatives don't support Trump because he's too far left, because he's Israel first, because he's a leftist neocon, policy-wise. You do realize that, right? Liberal neocon, like if you take actual liberal neocon from like the 90s, that's Trump. Trump is not a conservative at all. Not policy-wise, nothing. So if you are MAGA, you are a center-left neocon. I know that's going to be hard for you to, I didn't realize that about myself. But yes, policy-wise, you are a center-left neocon. And that's fine. A center-left Zionist neocon, we should say that. Because I don't want to insult the liberals. I don't want to insult liberals. Center-left Zionist neocon. That's what you are as MAGA. And that's not my opinion. That's just policy true. Right? And again, I don't want to insult liberals, so I'm not going to say a liberal neocon. But yeah, that's MAGA for you guys. Okay, we made it through. Now we're going to get to the best part of the show. Best part of the show, and here's how we're going to kick it off. Here's how we're going to kick off the last part of the show. Man, wouldn't this be something? Wouldn't this be a picture that we would all love to see? Wouldn't we all love to see this fucking picture right here? We can do a poll. I see a bunch of people asking for a poll. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's say want a MAGA or not poll. And we're jumping to the last part of the show. MAGA or not? Yes or no? I don't know how you could be in 2026, but I'm sure there will be some people. But this is the picture the entire world wanted to see. We're not going to see it under this term, but that's okay. But I did want you guys to see this. This clip has gone super viral this week. A lot of you guys have probably already seen it. It's going to horrify you.
Sierra Delta.
Here we go. Sorry about that. All right, let's take a watch of this.
It's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it, and quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online, and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Yeah, I know it's.
So, for those of you who couldn't understand him, that was an Israeli billionaire saying it was time for the government to shut down the First Amendment online. The government should control what anyone is allowed to say online, and the First Amendment should be rescinded from online speech. That is an Israeli billionaire saying that in America. I told you guys this was coming. I told you it was coming. We talked about this before. We talked about how my channel will probably get shut down. Ian Carroll's channel is going to get shut down, right? Jesse on Fire's channel is going to get shut down. We're all going to get shut down in the next year or two, probably. I mean, we're just not going to be allowed to say this. And they're saying it out loud. I mean, that's an Israeli billionaire saying the government has to step in and fucking remove freedom of speech off the internet. They're saying it out loud, guys. They're not even trying to hide it. And again, while we're doing that, don't worry, Trump just bought Israel 25 Boeing F-15 fighter jets 5 days ago after Netanyahu showed up and begged for a bunch of money. Yep. There it is. Fuck it. Why not? We'll just keep shelling out the cash. And there it is. Yeah, new report claims Netanyahu proposed round 2 of Iran war in 2026. Yes, in that recent meeting of Netanyahu coming to the White House, like I told you exactly what was going to happen. Yep, turns out they've already discussed it. It's already in the works. I'm sure we're going to see it probably in the next couple months. And you know how we know? Because here it is. You guys remember this? This is what they say. This is what he says every single time before we bomb Iran. Yes, the nukes can reach us. World on edge as Netanyahu warns Iran's nukes could threaten the United States. Here, let me explain something to you, by the way. No, Iran's nukes can't threaten the United States. Iran doesn't have the capabilities to hit the United States with ballistic missiles, mainly because they have enriched uranium, and uranium is super fucking heavy. You don't use uranium warheads for intercontinental ballistic missiles. You use plutonium warheads, and Iran doesn't have plutonium warheads. He's just literally fucking making that up. They don't even have the deployment ability because you need to drop it out of a plane because it's so heavy to even hit Israel, because they're not even going to be able to fly an aircraft all the way to Israel to drop it. It's all fucking bullshit propaganda to scare the American public, to put it on Fox News, to get us to do another regime change war. Okay? And it's already starting. All of the revolution, guess what? Israel has confirmed that Mossad is operating within Iran to help the protests, which we all already knew. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's why I say when I don't say it's like, is the revolution organic? Probably not. But here in America, if you want to be even more pissed off, yes, military base in San Diego, flying our greatest ally's flag at a military base. And you can tell it's a military base by the military building here. Everybody who's been in the military knows exactly what these buildings look like. Yes. I don't know why we're flying that on a military base, but we are in San Diego. So fucking great, guys. Great. We're super America first. We're in control of our own government, and everything's looking great going into 2026 for sure. You love to see it. At least we do have one person hanging in there. Thomas Massey, a week ago, says we should end all military aid to Israel. Do you agree? I mean, I do, but it doesn't feel like anybody else does in the current government. So at least we do have one person. We got one person hanging in there. And by the way, if you're wondering who the good guys are, Israel has now announced that it's going to bar Doctors from Borders, or Doctors Without Borders, from Gaza. Because this is how you prove you're the good guy. Right here. You ban Doctors Without Borders from coming into the area to help people. Because, yeah. And so for those of you who didn't know, things in Gaza really haven't changed. They're continuing to bomb Gaza every day. During this ceasefire hasn't been a ceasefire. Nothing's changing. And what they realize is you can just call it a ceasefire. If you just call it a ceasefire and then you have mainstream media stop allowing any reporting on it, then it means it's over. It's not working anymore. But that's not the case. So nothing's changed. 2026 is gearing up, looking to be one of the worst years yet. It looks like we're just completely saying fuck it. We're going to ramp up the funding to foreign countries. We're going to ramp up the funding to our greatest ally. We're going to let them do whatever the fuck we want. We're going to start literally regime changing 5, 6, 7 different countries. This is all happening in America. And I'm not being a doomer. I'm not being black-pilled. We're looking at it in real time. We're like just listening to Trump say he's going to do all of these things. And yeah, somebody said, and we're going to get taxed to death. Yeah, and I don't want to say you, we, me, you, all of us. We're going to fucking pay for it. We're going to pay for all of it. We're going to pay for literally all of it. None of us want it. We're still going to pay for it. So, I don't know, guys. I'm trying to be optimistic. It's just hard to be optimistic when we kicked off the new year with, again, rolling into a foreign country, kidnapping their leader, and then threatening 7 other fucking countries right afterwards. I don't know, guys. It's not looking great. All right, what was our poll here? MAGA or not? 90% no, 10% yes. Ouch. Not looking good. Not looking good for MAGA. I just don't know how. I don't know how you can be MAGA at this point. Like, because nothing MAGA, like when you talk about MAGA itself, right? Make America Great Again, the actual movement and what Trump ran the campaign on, he's not doing anything policy-wise that he ran the campaign on. So how, if you're MAGA, how could you support it? Do you not have, if you're MAGA, do you not have any actual convictions? Do you not have any actual values that you subscribe to? That's typically like politics, right? Like the reason why somebody is a leftist or a socialist or a white nationalist or a moderate usually comes from their values, their morals. Like you have an intrinsic set of values that you subscribe to, and whatever political party matches those values, that's where you find yourself. That's how it's supposed to work. But with MAGA, what we've seen is, well, we'll just move the goalpost all over the fucking place, and it doesn't matter. We don't have any intrinsic values. We don't have any set morals. We're just going to do whatever the fuck we want, and it doesn't matter what we ran the campaign on. But, well, Trump's my daddy, so I just support anything he does. That's kind of what MAGA is, right? Because anybody that's got actual critical thinking capacity, that's actually thinking for themselves and has their own intrinsic morals and values, like I'm sure the vast majority of you have, when your political party starts doing things that are against those values, you are either going to leave the political party or you're going to call the party out. But we're seeing the opposite of that. And maybe it is. Maybe it's cult-like behavior. Maybe that's just what happens. Yeah, some people are saying cult, Christian cult, MAGA cult. I mean, it's got to be something like that, because there's no way anyone could be MAGA in 2016 and then be in 2024 and be like, I support everything Donald Trump's doing. It's not possible, because he is not running any of his policy based off of MAGA values. He's not. This is just objectively true. So it's just cult-like behavior at this point. Look at the Epstein files. We're at the point where it's like, I don't care that he's a PDF because he's my guy. And it's like, really? That's where you're at? I don't know. Okay. A little bit of a rant on that one. Again, it's been a wild couple days. So we made it through the whole show. We still got to do our super chats. So thank you all so much for sticking with us on the regular scheduled episode. So for this week, guys, we will not have an episode, not have a live stream Friday. It's my daughter's birthday this weekend. We're going out of town, do a little bit of a vacation. All right. So no live this Friday. We'll be back on Tuesday. I'll probably have a couple videos in between there, like next couple days, but no actual live. And so for everybody who wants to stick by, and as we go through the super chats, feel free to stick with us. Thank you all so much for being with us to start the New Year's off. Hope you guys found this one interesting as we deep dive Venezuela. We'll see by next week what kind of crazy shits popped off. But for now, that's going to wrap this one up for the actual scheduled content. Okay, so thank you all so much. Also, a bunch of nice comments tonight. Been looking through the chat. Chat's been very, very positive and nice tonight. So that's a good thing to see as well. Love to see that. All right, let's hit those super chats and let's jump into this. Thank you all for everybody who's just stayed with us for the regular show. All right, let's hit it. Here we go. Got to get through them. Oh, I skipped way ahead for Brent's, so I get it back and figure out where we were here. I don't want to miss any. I don't want to miss. Where are we at? Sorry, guys. Okay, we got that one. I think this is where we are. No, sorry. I shouldn't have skipped way ahead. Brent screwed me over on this one. All right, I think it's right here. Okay. Let's do it. All right. Black Hack says, I'm America first, but do not support that dictator and only like two or three things Trump has actually done. But this op was sick as fuck. Love how cool our military is. I think we did this one already. Maybe not. Sounds very Battle of Mogadishu in Venezuela should be tougher than a bunch of starving dudes with AKs and RPGs. This is a good point. Yeah, Mogadishu, just a bunch of people living in mud huts with AKs brought the fight way harder than an entire main city of Venezuela did, to the point of like, was this scheduled or was this a rehearsed or choreographed? I don't know. We'll ask Brent Tucker about that. He'll let us know if this was real or not. We have so many U.S. states controlled by anti-American leftist communists. Why should we care about an old conservative communist in South America? Pretty fair point to that. Hey, Valhalla, do you think they're planning the same operation against Iran? Mullah, if so, how much easier or harder it will be? We talked about this. I think I was talking to Ian about this, actually. I do think that there's probably very realistic potential that probably not the Ayatollah. I think that would be way too risky to piss off the entire Shia world, but the president of Iran, I think, is a decent chance to that. There's also supposed word that they're considering fleeing to Russia, but we'll have to see. But as for how difficult it would be, I don't think it'll be any harder, to be honest. We've shown we can absolutely shut down China and Russia's, surface-to-air missile systems and anti-aircraft systems. So I think we could do it there too. It'd be so much more risky because it's on the other side of the world and it's not in our hemisphere, right? We don't have aircraft carriers sitting right off the coast, so it would take a little bit. Because again, you got to get those helicopters in there, right? So it'd probably be more complicated, but it could be doable. But we'll have to wait and see. Eagle says, okay, if it's pre-planned, why did we smoke 32 Cuban Special Forces bodyguards? Do you think Cubans would give him up like that? I don't know if that's true that we killed that many Cuban Special Forces. I do know that we did axe quite a few, though. I think most of these were actually intelligence operators. But yeah, again, I don't know. Again, that's one of those things. The fact that there was a bunch of people killed, but that doesn't really necessarily mean anything either, because when it comes to carrying out false flags, not that this was a false flag, but rehearsed operations, like, we don't mind smoking people when we do it, turns out. Debbie says arranged. AJ says the Origin hoodie. Oh yeah, that was one of his 10 different outfits. He had an Origin hoodie, American made, I believe. Origin hoodie. It was weird. He was able to bring his wife. He didn't bring him. We brought her. We took her as well. The blue hoodie is made by Origin, Jocko's company. Oh, wait, Jocko owns Origin? I didn't know that. That's funny. Wonder how that got in the mix with the alleged drug cartel leader capture. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I didn't know Jocko owned Origin. It's pretty funny, though. My cousin just promoted out the 160th a few months ago. His thoughts are, it was a masterclass for sure. That is Delta 160th, wet dream come true. Yeah, I bet. Absolutely awesome. 160th is phenomenal, guys. I've got a couple stories of flying with the 160th on combat operations that, yeah, they don't mess around. They'll land you straight on the X. And by X, I mean, you don't have to walk to the objective. You jump out of the helicopter and they're right there. So those dudes are brass balls for sure. We didn't take Iraq's oil. Oh, we didn't? Interesting. Interesting. Don't worry, we've already approved Venezuelan refugees to make up for it. Yeah, I did see that. Because that's what we do, right? We destabilize countries, create a refugee crisis, and then we take the refugees. For those of you who don't know, the Middle East and the 7 different regimes that we toppled between, let's see, had technically Afghanistan, although the Taliban got it back, Iraq, Sudan, Somalia, Syria, Libya, and Lebanon. Syria, did I say Syria already? We killed over 1 million people and we displaced 22 million refugees who are now all in Europe and America. Yay, regime change, crushing. So don't be surprised when you see the same thing coming out of Latin America as well. But Nate, we can go back to service for bankers again, the upcoming wars. Yep, bankers, military-industrial complex. They love it. Did he reach Trump's pardon threshold? I don't know. It depends on how much money he's willing to give. AJ says, we have over 10,000 years of current energy demand in nuclear material, uranium, thorium in the United States. Just saying. Yeah, we should probably adjust to that. But a lot of people don't want us to, which is odd. I don't know enough about nuclear energy to weigh in on that, though, AJ. I'm not a savant when it comes to that. Marco Rubio is the new front runner. I have seen that. JD is nowhere to be found. Only Ladybugs, Graham, and Marco. Marco will be the front runner in 2028. A lot of time. A lot of time for things to change. But I did see Marco has overtaken JD as the front runner following what's happened here in Venezuela. I don't think Marco Rubio could win president, though. He's too little. I'm not trying to beat up on the short kings, but if you're 5'2", I don't see it happening for him. It's called great man theory. Okay. If you guys don't know about great man theory is, the theory goes back hundreds of years, but the idea that the vast majority of great men or people in leaders, high political prominence, and it's not 100% this way, are typically very tall, good hair, attractive, different things like that. And people will say that's not true, but if you actually look at Fortune 500 companies, I think it's somewhere upwards of like 70 to 80% of Fortune 500 companies are over 6 feet tall and male. And so while this is like a theory from the 1800s, it actually sort of holds true with politicians and CEOs of businesses and things like that. Except Napoleon. Yeah, Napoleon's like a great sort of aside from that. But you look like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, like all of these world leaders typically. And Gavin Newsom is a good example of that. And again, we like to pretend that that's not a real thing. But it historically, for the last 2,000 years, that's typically what you see. And Marco's got an uphill battle when it comes to that. Especially if he runs against somebody like Gavin Newsom. America First would be minding our own damn business, educating our populace, innovating, competing with superior affordable products. America could be great. And yeah, Epstein file shaking my head. Yeah, imagine if like we just stopped sending hundreds of fucking $1 billion to all these foreign countries and just invested it in our own country. Like Chicago's fucked up. But if you took $30 billion and invested it in Chicago and infrastructure and the police force and revamping the education and fixing the crime, you could probably fix that city, and you could probably do it city by city, but you'd have to actually invest in it instead of giving all that money to fucking Israel or Argentina or Uganda or Zambia or where the fuck ever. But yeah, I don't see that changing. And Bongino's back to losing his mind, not admitting he lied and threatening Flynn. You can't make this ish up. Bagino? We're talking about Bongino? Bagino. Maybe I read that wrong. Was wondering what the chances are that the RRC was involved in gathering intel with the CIA before Delta went in and captured him. There's a lot of There's a lot of different intel apparatuses that could potentially be used. RRC, very, very unlikely because they're not doing clandestine CIA-esque type of intelligence. The ISA, Delta Force has their own intelligence gathering, by the way, but most likely this was CIA when it comes to pulling out the intel in this specific type of situation. RRC is doing more like reconnaissance level intelligence gathering rather than like embedding in Maduro's regime or something like that. Would be my guess. And here we go. The actual expert, Brent Tucker, said very little chance at RRC. So there you go. Luckily, we got Brent Tucker here as an expert to corroborate that. But that would be my, ISA or Task Force Orange would be more likely. There we go. So, good. That was going to be my statement. And since Brent corroborated it, I'm gonna say that we're right. But if Brent says that's the case, then we're going to believe him because he's the expert, not me. Bobby says, oh, goody, another nation we're going to wind up sending weapons and money to. Venezuela. Yeah. We could very easily end up in that. I mean, who knows? Again, I don't think we're going to. I think we're just going to keep the regime in place. We're going to keep Maduro's regime in place. We're going to buy off the current defense minister and vice president and Maduro's regime. Probably give Maduro a sweetheart deal, and then we're just going to rape their country of natural resources, would be my guess. And I guess that's probably the most America first way to do it. It's going to absolutely hose the Venezuelan people, but what's up, brother? Random question. Did you ever have aspirations to join Delta? God bless our troops. Appreciate you, Nate. Not really. I had surgery on both my knees early in my SF career. I was able to continue going, but I wouldn't have been able to pass Delta Force selection. Just physically wouldn't have been able to do it. It would have been way too hard for me. Just from that standpoint. So would have loved to, but yeah, I knew my limits and wouldn't have been something that I personally believed I could have passed. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself. And I was honest with myself when it came to that. Yeah. And who knows if I would have been good enough to fucking make it anyway, like by any means. But yeah, would have been cool, but I'm not Brent Tucker. Only one Brent Tucker in the chat. How stupid will we look if Maduro is found not guilty of narco-terrorism on our soil? Max Blumenthal, I believe, was saying the charges are super weak. Not shocking to me, turned up charges. Yeah, the charges are really bad. One of the charges is like a 1934 firearms clause regarding machine guns. But again, if this is something where he's going to get like some slap on the wrist, extradite him to Colombia or something after a year in jail, so that way, we can facilitate running the new regime that way, then wouldn't be surprised to see that. But who knows? We'll see. They don't care for success, only profit. Yeah. Joe says Trump thinks if you take their president as someone took Trump, like a chess game, it's over. Though think Trump plays checkers and not chess, but my point stands. He's not deep thinker, just saying. Look, I don't know, man. I don't know what Trump's thinking, but to your point, Joe, I mean, yeah, we already know removing a leader from power does not just immediately solve the problem. It doesn't remove the regime. In a lot of cases, if you look at Iraq, removing Saddam didn't only cause chaos within, that power vacuum itself. It also led to the formation of ISIS. Because what we did is we handled that so badly that we took Saddam out of power, we took the Sunnis out of power, and all of Saddam's military that were Sunni Muslims, we gave the power to the Shias, and we disenfranchised an entire massive demographic of young men who then turned towards extremism and the caliphate, and we dealt with that problem for 20 fucking years after that. So regime change is, again, a fickle business, and we've never done it correctly. So it's hard to have a lot of faith that we're going to do it right this time. WMDs are very scary. Well, again, we said fentanyl is a WMD now, even though, did you guys see the indictment documents? Do you know what's not in the indictment documents? Fentanyl charges. Remember that whole reason why we supposedly needed to remove Maduro, because he was bringing in all the fentanyl to our country? It's not even in the charges. So, whoops. My Coke dealer doubled his price. Colombia's still bringing in the good stuff, man. Actually, what's crazy? I saw the statistic. Cocaine actually has reduced in price 60% over the last 20 years. It's one of the only goods that has not increased with inflation. So for all you Coke enthusiasts out there, you're doing pretty well. The economy's looking good for you. But, you know, little hats all for the blow. And New Bank, you're welcome. Hey, from Australia, big fella. I'm afraid the boys will get far different reception when they go back in as Trump said they will. Yeah, we'll see what happens if we try to roll our military in there. Again, it's going to be an interesting next couple months. Nate, it's like you're reading my mind or you're speaking my language as a veteran. The perspective is spot on. Great show tonight. Americans do not benefit from imperialism. History nerds know it. I mean, here's the thing. We can benefit from imperialism. Used to benefit from imperialism, but it has to be done. And again, it's not morally a good thing, I don't think, right? Like we've moved there, but it has to be done in a way that actually benefits the American people. And what we know from imperialism is it doesn't benefit the American people. It benefits the American corporate class. It benefits the military industrial complex. It benefits the oil and gas industry. It benefits, you know, all of the people that none of that money is going to facilitate down to the American working class. So American imperialism doesn't really do jack shit for Americans outside of, you know, the elite apparatus for the most part. Because, we typically don't see trickle down when it comes to that. Stephen Miller and Cash Patel are both the same size. They should box. Oh, I would love to see that. Stephen Miller. Who do you guys? Oh, let's do a poll on that. Stephen Miller versus Cash Patel boxing match. Oh my God. I don't even know who I want to take here. I'm probably going to wait and see your guys' take on who would win that boxing match. Let's find out and see what you guys think. All right. we'll send that poll as we go. See who you guys think would win in that boxing match between the two minis. All right. Nate, my question is how to cope with the fact that the majority of conservatives or supposed conservatives are sporting this BS just to own the left and not be actual critical political side we ought to be. Well, they're not conservatives, man. So this is the biggest thing. The people you see cheering on us talking about invading 7 different countries and giving all our money to foreign countries, like those aren't conservatives. And you should just know that and identify that right away and don't let them try to claim that they're conservatives. Like Ben Shapiro is not a conservative. Matt Walsh is not a conservative. Like these are not, Lindsey Graham is not a conservative. And I could show you exactly what I mean here. And it's not just my opinion. Let's pull this up real quick. Lindsey Graham, Liberty Score. And I can just show you from Conservative Review. Watch this. This is Lindsey Graham. This is his voting record. Liberty Score, conservative value voting score in Congress. Look at this. 43%. He's got an F. He votes liberal 60% of the fucking time. F in Liberty Score. Lindsey Graham. This is my point, guys. So they are not conservatives. They are posturing and pretending to be conservatives. Just like Ben Shapiro, just like Matt Walsh, just like everybody at the Daily Wire, those are not conservatives. Lindsey Graham, Mark Levine, Randy Fine, these are not conservatives. And their voting records show that. All right, so don't let them gaslight you into thinking that they're part of the conservative movement because they're not. Just objectively. Put money on Stephen Miller and Jared Kushner being related in some way. Ugh. Yeah. Kylie says, I've just read the oil is heavy and tar crude that would literally eat pipes, requires new refineries just to touch it if true. What a historic fuck up on scale of Iraq fake WDs. Okay, so let me explain this, okay? This is true. It's heavy crude oil, but there's a lot of nuance and context to this, okay? Who else has heavy crude oil? Canada. And so American conglomerates like Chevron, Exxon, and Mobil have already invested almost $1 trillion into the infrastructure to be able to refine that heavy crude in Canada, right? So those same companies are not going to go down to Venezuela and invest another $1 trillion into infrastructure to eat their own profit against themselves. What they're going to do is go into Venezuela and drastically limit and reduce the supply of that heavy crude that's being sold to foreign countries. So that way their conglomerates in Canada can keep those profits ramped through the fucking roof. That is what's going to happen with Venezuela. So you are not going to get lower gas prices because of it, but the Exxon Mobil, Shell conglomerates that have all that infrastructure already built out in Canada will see massively increased profits because now Venezuela is no longer pumping out tons of crude to the rest of the world. Does that make sense? Got it. That's really what's going on with the oil. So that's what you guys need to keep in mind. All right. Here we go. All right. That looked like me, like a very quiet coup. Oh, we should have asked Brent. Is Brent still in here? Is Brent still in here, guys? We want to ask Brent if we think Brent's still in here. Brent, if you're still in here, we talked about before. Do you think, if he's still here, that the raid had any sort of, not rehearsed, but let's say, was Maduro maybe sold out by his own people? Or was Maduro sort of maybe in on this? Or do you think that this was just like a straight up, nobody had any idea this was coming and we pulled it off? So what do you think, Brent? Was this, you got to give us one of the two. Was Maduro sold out by his own people and we kind of knew what was coming? Or was this completely just a badass raid? See what Brent thinks. Because he's got a way better understanding than any of us do. I'm waiting for it. Sorry, Brent. All right, well, I'll wait for Brent to put that and I'll just keep moving. Okay, there we go. 100% in a circle, 100% people in a circle sold them out. All right, there we go. That's the expert. The actual Delta operator expert weighed in. And I believe, what was it, like 85% of the chat thought that too. So there you guys go. We're all smart. Boom. We're super smart. And Brent just confirmed how smart we are. So thank you for that, Brent. All right. Oil, Maria Machado, 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah, except she's not getting put in power. Kangaroo Bot says, thanks, Kangaroo Bot. Says, Nate, out of curiosity, I saw your recent video talking about the possibility outcomes of the situation, but was wondering if you have any new predictions positive that would come from this. For me, the most positive outcome that comes from this is we keep Maduro's. And again, sorry to say this if you're Venezuelan or you have family in Venezuela. For me, as an America First guy, the most positive outcome of this is the Maduro regime remains intact completely. Nothing happens with the government, and we then basically have an alliance with Maduro's regime, and we move in there and we start to basically harvest all their natural resources. And America basically reaps the resources out of Venezuela. It's super shitty for Venezuela and Venezuelan people, but it's positive for America in some regards. That's gonna make it so we don't have some civil war. We don't have to go put boots on the ground. We don't have to do a 20-year Iraq regime change war. So if I'm looking at it positively, that's for America, I think, the best outcome. And I think that's probably the outcome that we're going to see personally. And again, sucks for the Venezuelan people. You're not getting what you think. But I think that's the most positive outcome that we can get from this, me personally. Trump, the first can't say that. Oh, you almost got me on that one. Jesus, AJ. God, country, corpse, pray for war. Yeah. So my brother just wanted to keep up the good work and stay honest from a Bosnian American. Hell yeah, man. Thank you, Alex. Six's mom says, how else do you get a third term with no election and causing chaos? Have to stay like FDR because so much insanity. Aloha from Kauai, America First, people. Thank you, Six's mom. God, I hope not. I hope not. I just don't. I just keep, people ask me this question all the time. Oh, do you think Trump will try to declare martial law and have a third term? And I keep saying, no, it's ridiculous. And then the more I look at shit he's doing, and I'm going, oh my God. I still don't think so, but I think Trump's going to want to be a kingmaker. Not that he's necessarily going to be able to, but I think he's going to want the power to do it. I don't think he's going to want to run another term personally, but fucking who knows? Who knows? Does anybody know when the first shuttle to Mars leaves? Pretty sure the Earth is screwed. I don't know. 2027, maybe? Ryan says it's boner time. Thanks, Ryan. Don't make me laugh. All right. Cat says no more left versus right. It's us versus them. Question is, what can we do now? How can we come together to save this country? I think, man, it's 2026. I mean, we have the elections, we have the midterms. For me, whether you're left, whether you're right, I think you should vote strictly down a basis of America first. Anybody that you're voting for that's taking shit tons of money from any foreign country, whether it be APAC lobbies, Qatari lobbies, Saudi lobbies, Soros-backed lobbies, like any of these things, if you know that candidate is doing that, you should vote for the other person if it's a better choice, whether you're left, right, center. I think that's the best hope we have. Vote for people like Brandon Herrera that you know actually give a shit about the country. There's not very many of him out there, but that's the best we got right now, guys. Beyond that, it gets a lot more violent, and I don't think we're there yet. As a young man wanting to join the military, specifically SOF, do I just ignore all the BS that's been going on in the United States? Yes, 100%. I tell people, all the young men, this all the time. The world's always been crazy. Go back to the Revolutionary War, homie. America's been fucking crazy. From American Revolutionary War to the Civil War to the American Spanish War to the Mexican War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, right? The global war on terror for 20 years. It's always going to be crazy. You never know what's going to come. You don't know who's going to be in power. If you want to join the military, you want to go special operations, it's the best fucking job in the world, in my opinion. And don't worry about who's in charge, what the political theater is, what the world looks like. You could go 20 years and never see combat, or you could go 20 years during a 20-year protracted war. You don't know. So do it for yourself. Amazing opportunities in the military as a young man, 18, 19-year-old man. I don't think there's any better opportunity for you to do, other than maybe like trade school. You want to go be a welder, engineer, plumber, great job as well. Not as exciting, not as cool as jumping out of planes and shooting people in the face, right? But yeah, don't worry about the political apparatus, man. Do what you want to do. Military is a great career, and the brotherhood and everything you're going to get it is fantastic. I love being in the military, man. So that's my personal opinion on that. At some point, when all these other countries all come together against us, is it even feasible? We can't fight them all at once, right? Well, all those countries aren't going to come together against us. But if we start invading our allies like Denmark or Greenland, it could get that way. But hopefully that's just pandering. What if any good came from this? I don't know. I don't know yet. Katie says Elon's grandmother or grandfather, member of Technocracy Inc., is a social movement started in the 1930s. Plan was to end democracy and unify us continent to control Greenland, Panama, parts of South America. The Don Rowe doctrine isn't new. The Don Rowe doctrine. Okay, I'm going to steal that. The Don Rowe doctrine is actually pretty funny. That's a good one, Katie. I do like the Don Rowe doctrine. That's I guess what we're seeing right now is the Don Rowe doctrine. Does Loomer look like Rocky Dennis from The Mask? She looks like fucking Jigsaw from the Saw series. I'll tell you that. Oh my God. And look, guys, I never, ever, for the most part, target women or attack women, talk about their looks or anything like that. And I always say the one exception to that rule in my world is Laura Loomer, because she's the most disgusting fucking human being on the planet. And I think she deserves it. Outside of that, you won't see me do it. Laura Loomer, I don't even look at her as male or female. I just look at her as an absolute moral monster. So I think she deserves it. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but she's just a horrible person. She's a worse person, uglier person inside than she is outside somehow. So yeah, she deserves it, in my opinion. Bag of nades. Little Tim Kennedy joke. Wars of Racket says Pete Hegseth is the kid that got bullied and has to project. He's not weak. I have zero respect for guys like that. A real threat is mythological, not broadcasting. I'm alpha. Respect me. Just know. Yeah, Pete. I had high hopes for Pete. And again, to your point, like the whole lethality and I'm badass and like I'm gonna go show you like how many pull-ups I can do, even though he can't do pull-ups. To me, it's like, dude, just fucking be a normal guy. Just be a normal guy, bro. Like, just stop. Like, you don't have to act that way. Nobody thinks you're tough. You don't have a Ranger tab. Neither do I, but I was a Green Beret, so I got a long tab at least. But for an infantry officer, like not having a Ranger tab, come on, homie. Come on, homie. There's Brent says, how dare you do this without me? Happy New Year, America. We got to get Brent back on the show, guys. Very, very soon. This would maybe maybe when we invade Cuba next week, we'll be able to get Brent on the show. All right. Listen says, I'm 50 and I can't believe that half the Trump cabinet was not just brutally bullied every day in grade school. Well, they're theater kids, to your point. Kash Patel, Stephen Miller, those are all theater kids for sure. Or, well, what would happen to basically every young girl that became a coke addict back then? Yeah. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate you. Cadmus says, and if you belong to Christ, then you are Abraham's descendants, heirs according to the promise. Galatians 4:29, that promise wasn't for Yohadim. Well, I don't know about this one. If you belong to Christ, then you're an Abraham's descendants. I don't know. There's a lot of people that are Abraham's descendants technically that don't believe in Christ. You guys know who they are. Just saying, not all of Abraham's children are created equally, let's just say. Oh, Brent says he'll be in Cuba grabbing cigars for that one. Yeah, when we invade Cuba. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Brent has a cigar company, guys. If you're looking for cigars, head on over to Brent's channel so you can pick some up. Also, whiskey. He's got great whiskey as well. But yeah, if we invade Cuba, that might be a good one for Brent. You'll be able to get those get a discount on your cigars. I don't know if you get them from Cuba or not. All right. Yay, caught you live. Ian sent me here. Love from Outback, Western Australia. Hell yeah, love it. Love the Aussies here. My favorite country to work with. And we also love Ian here too. Brent, we love you. Next time, please do it. Aloha from Kauai. See, should have just. Brent was supposed to be on for this episode, by the way. So Brent has been here in the chat hanging out, and I asked him if he wanted to do a live on this, and he just didn't respond. But then showed up for the live. You should have just done the show together. Would have been way cooler. That's all right. We'll get him on here soon. He's a busy boy. Brent is like 10 times busier than me because he actually runs a business and does training with law enforcement, and he does a lot of stuff. So it's harder. It's a lot harder to get him on than it is to get me. We'll get him on here soon though. Kamala Biden 2028, we're back, Jack. Oh, Jesus Christ. Kamala with Biden as the VP. Oh, what about Kamala Hunter Biden? What about, hold on. We got to do a poll here. We got to do a poll. I got an idea. I watched Hunter Biden on Sean Ryan's podcast, and I got to tell you guys, I was pretty impressed. Like, actually kind of impressed by the guy. He called his dad out for his bullshit. He called him out on the botched withdrawal of Afghanistan. He called him out for the shitty job at the border. All right, let's do this one. 2028, you have the current MAGA, or I guess conservative frontrunner, which is now Marco Rubio, has overtaken Vance. So this is our poll. 2028, ladies and gentlemen, you can vote for Hunter Biden or Marco Rubio. Let me know what you guys think. I'll give you my opinion on that as we move forward. Was kidnapping Maduro just an over-exaggerated show of force? Maybe, to be honest, actually. I think there's a lot, like to Brent's point, like he said, 100% got sold out by his own people. I believe that for sure too. So maybe not a show of force, but maybe. Know what's going on? Gonzalo Lira, thank you. Newsom is a wine bot. Well, he owns a wine. Doesn't he own a winery? Wouldn't be surprised. Getting real sick of your anti-short guy rhetoric, Nate. God made me 5'7" with my shoes on, and my girlfriend says I'm perfect for her. Look, I'm not beating up on the short kings at all. I'm just, like I said, 5'7" is not even that short. When we're talking about Marco Rubio and Kash Patel, you got 5-6 inches on those guys. I'm just saying, I was just explaining great man theory and how the vast majority of world leaders and politicians and Fortune 500 companies are typically tall, handsome, good hair, right? It's not my opinion. It's just the way it usually works, other than like Napoleon. What are some other? Stalin, I think, was pretty little too, if I remember. Other than that, don't sell animal minors. Spade your chodlers. Penta, big $50 dono. Veersbowski, let's rock is how Pistol Pete sees himself in his head in the mirror. I could see Pete as a guy that Penta that pumps himself up in the mirror before he goes out. I know he wears a lot of makeup. Nothing wrong with that necessarily, but he seems like a type of guy that definitely pump himself up. You're good enough, you're strong enough, and God damn it, people like you. I can see him in the mirror. I can see him in the mirror pumping himself up before his speeches. All right, Listen and Speak says, your Hegseth speech was the best thing I've seen in 11 months of watching you, Nate. Again, Hegseth would have barely survived the gauntlet when average Gen X did here with the subservient clowns. Appreciate it. Thank you. Trump said if they lose the midterms, he will be impeached. Did I not show that clip? Hold on. I could have swore. Oh, maybe I didn't show that clip. I thought I had a clip of Trump talking about how he would be impeached if he was if the midterms were lost. I must have closed it out. Yep. Oh well. But to your point, I thought I played that. Maybe I didn't. But yeah, I did see him say that. CI share is busy these days. Yeah. Especially in Latin America. Can't tell what is and what isn't a Babylon Bee headline anymore. That's how the Truth Social posts are on Trump's Truth Social. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Like, you'll see some of the most ridiculous shit ever, and it's a Truth Social post, and you'll be like, wait, is this sarcasm? Is this satire? Is this fake? And like, it's a 50-50 shot of whether it's true or not. You never can really know. That's where we've gotten to. They have 2026 rigged. Yeah, maybe. Although, here's the thing. Remember what Trump said? All the voting systems, the Dominion voting systems, came from Venezuela. So now if we control Venezuela, that means they can't influence our elections anymore, right? Maybe. I don't know. Mossad putting geriatrics in office since JFK. Yep. Prepare to raise the straw hat flag. Look up straw hat flag protest for more info. Well, there you guys go. Look up straw hat flag. I'll look that up later. Well, actually, what is that? We'll just look it up right now. What's a straw hat flag? Close some of these out. Straw hat flag. Let's see what it says here. Refers to an iconic Jolly Roger of the Straw Hat Pirates from the popular anime One Piece, which has become a symbol of resistance and anti-authoritarianism, especially for Gen Z protests against corruption and government oppression. All right, well, I didn't know what this was, but apparently there you go. Small hat, what is it? Straw hat protests. Never heard of that before. Gen Z, learning things. Read aloud Revelations 3:9. Maybe later. I can't get into Revelations right now. We're too close to it, I think. We're too close to the end times. It's too realistic for me at this point to be. I don't want to go read Revelations right now. I'm going to get demoralized that it's probably all coming true. How about the Israeli judge that was killed in a hit and run? Oh my God, we didn't even talk about that, guys. Yes, if you didn't know, I had this to talk about too. The judge who's presiding over Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption case in Israel, you know, the one that he's trying to get a pardon for, guess what? He was just killed in a motorcycle accident. No way. It's almost like they love to fucking kill, you know? Yeah, that just happened today, by the way. Yeah. No, it was an accident. It was a motorcycle accident, I'm sure. Yeah, that happened today. Why is it that if you love America and criticize your politicians that you somehow become a right-wing bigot or a left-wing commie? Critical thinking has been thrown out the window because it's tribalism, man. Tribalism. You're not allowed to think for yourself. And if you criticize the party, then you just automatically are somebody on the other side. You're in the other tribe. And it's just a absolute demonstration of lack of critical thinking ability and Socratic questioning and everything like that, to where you're not allowed to question people on your political side. And I think that is one of the biggest problems in America today. It's cult-like behavior on both sides, left and right. Because if you think about it, politicians, here's another thing, guys, and I've said this before. Who the fuck idolizes politicians? I mean, a lot of people do, but think about this. And I've said this before, on politicians, on a scale of 1 to 10, the way I look at politicians is all politicians on a scale of 1 to 10 start at -10. And you have to work up from there. Otherwise, you just stay at a -10. You're just down here with Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and Randy Fine, and you never move up. So it's also like people that are obsessing, or they're like their daddy Trump or Biden, like on either side, that's like being obsessed with the principal in school. Could you imagine that kid in school that's like, yeah, the principal's the coolest fucking dude ever. I love the principal. You'd be like, dude, you're a fucking loser. What are you talking about? How do you love the principal? That's like the way I look at people who love politicians and are obsessed with politicians. It's like, dude, they're all bad. They're all fucking bad. All of the politicians are bad. Maybe ones or twos that where you're like, oh God, I mean, they do some good stuff, but yeah. All right, seriously, what can we do to take them down? I don't know. Satan Yahoo. Yeah. Nate, is there anything we can do at this point? Or are rights toast and America cooked? Again, like I said, I don't know. You can vote. I don't know if your vote does anything anymore. You know? Stop paying taxes is a good one. I don't have the balls to do it, but I know a lot of you guys aren't going to pay taxes. So you're brave. that is it. I will say this. If everyone in America refused to pay taxes, it would actually completely overhaul the system overnight. And they would be forced to capitulate to the American people. And yes, it would fix everything immediately. But how do you get everybody to do that? It's like the prisoner's dilemma, right? It's easy to say you'll do it, but when it comes time to actually filing your tax return and you don't know if anybody else did it, you're like, what if I'm the only one? And then I'm going to go to prison. So that's kind of the hard part there. But if you could get everybody to do it, then yeah, it actually would probably change everything. Six's mom says, being from Hawaii, the fear of nukes in North Korea is North Korea. At least we have PRMC, still scary, aloha from Kauai. Yeah, you guys are in range from old North Korea. All right. Johnny says, what's up, Nate? Thanks, bud. If I had to stand next to you to fight, I'd rather stand next to you and JD. I'd do in a second. Well, thanks, brother. I don't want to get any fights myself, though. I'm too old. Too old to be fighting. Ugh. Timmy says, at this point, MAGA is just blindly following Trump. Also, get JD on some more. We just had JD on like a week or two ago. But yeah, I mean, obviously, love doing content with JD. Is JD here right now? I don't know if JD's sitting here right now or not. Chad, is JD in here? Oh, I need to blow my nose. 1 second, guys. Still kicking. Still kicking the sickness. He was earlier? Oh, he was live earlier? I skipped you. Oh, there's JD right there. Oh, okay, he's in here. There he is. That's my boy. That's my boy. Jesse, too, yeah. Jesse and JD, those are my boys. A show. All right. At this point, MAGA is blindly following Trump. Also, get JD's on some more. Oh, we did that one. Brent says, don't blame me. It's your lack of organization. That's probably true. I probably didn't coordinate it well enough. But thanks, JD. We got all my boys in here tonight. Brent, JD. Got my real life friends in here today. Not that other people aren't my friends, but my actual real life friends are in here today. Love that. Love my boys. Thank you, Penta. All right. Earl says the administration will supply you 36 months of insane content. Nate, you can look as job security. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't remember who I was. Maybe I was talking to Jesse about it. I was like, man, I fucking hate the idea of us doing all this crazy shit with the military, but it's a lot for me to talk about coming from the military. You know what I mean? So it is a lot of content. I'd prefer I didn't have to do content on us bombing foreign countries and stealing their leaders, but here we are. Pop, hold it down. Thank you, Thomas. Bobby says, is this really just another attempt to divert attention away from the files? 100% yes, it is. I heard there's evidence linking Epstein with the Iran-Contra affair. Yeah, I think Ian was doing some content on that. I know he had ties to Africa and weapons and arms dealing with Israel and Africa. I'm not sure about Iran-Contra or not. I'll have to look into that. Boner time. Thanks, Ryan. If you're saying it's scary, that can't be good. AJ says, LMAO, sorry, Nate, I need to figure out a warning system when I say something awful. I just have to be careful. It's one thing if you super chat it. It's another thing if I say it out loud, because then it gets clipped. When I say a slur because you guys typed it up in a way that I don't see it initially, and then I say it out loud, yeah, then I get hosed. So please don't do that, because sometimes you trick me. Doesn't the real Venezuelan value lie in Orinoco mining arc? I think the oil just sings our time. Oil got demoted. AI chip making is king. I don't know what the Orinoco mining arc is. I know they have a massive amount of gold. That's a big part of it. I know they just have tons of natural resources in general, so I'd have to look into that. Not familiar with that, but I wouldn't be surprised. But also oil. I mean, they have the world's largest reserve of heavy crude in the world, so they're just a massive oil, or they're just a massive natural resource rich country. So, is what it is. And we're probably going to go take all of it now. Or we're going to try to, would be my guess. Why worry about Mars? We should go where we've been to the moon. From quite well, China is going to the moon, guys. China is planning on having a full military base set up on the moon by 2030. So we'll see what we do about that. Atomica says, I've been going nuts trying to find out if our O's were with C in XLD. Not sure what that is. Even saw him, who lives in the desert nowadays. Nope. All's the same. I don't know if this is like some Q stuff, Atomica. I'm not sure what we're saying here. But thank you very much. Sorry. I'm not sure what this is. C in XLD. Can I speak Swedish? Nope. Can't speak Swedish. It's 2 generations deep in me. And also, so that era, typically immigrants that were coming to America did not actually, a lot of them tried not to speak their native language, like my grandparents or great grandparents, or your grandparents or great grandparents tried not to actually speak their native languages to their kids, because they didn't want their kids to have accents, because they wanted them to assimilate and be much more be part of American culture better. And so a lot of the times those secondary languages weren't even taught to kids, even though it was the main language in our grandparents and our great grandparents generations, especially from like Italy and Poland and some of those European countries like that back then. So same thing for our family. For the Epstein time, Trump devotion syndrome, TDS. That's a good one, Robert. There is some of that right now. Means going from isolationism to imperialism within 2 milliseconds. Yep, that happened in the last 3 days. Just watch the Fox News talking heads fangirling whatever position Trump flips to. Yeah, that 100% happened. We went from no more foreign wars to invading sovereign countries is a great thing overnight. It's the Jays, and it's always been the Jays. The thing is, we shouldn't be like that, because it kind of can take away from the power of when it is the Jays. But at the same time, man, it sure does feel like it's always the Jays. I mean, realistically, it's almost like every single time. Oh, I don't know. Joe says, sorry if this sounds like I'm a jerk, but we're all about America first. So how long before it ends up perverted and slapped on t-shirts and coffee mugs and people just rock it to be cool? Once MAGA falls apart, which is going to be after the 2026 elections, and Trump becomes a liability on Republicans moving into 2028, that's when you'll see it fall apart, and you'll see a massive transition. All of the previous MAGA influencers will abandon MAGA. They'll move to America First. So that's when I plan on seeing it, is following the 2026 midterms is when I expect to see that exact thing happen on mass scale. I think we're just ahead of the curve here. My theory is being echoed by smarter people makes me feel not so stupid. Great work, brother. Yeah. It's always great when you have someone like Brent here and you could be like, hey, what do you think? And then he says what we thought. And you're like, yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, we're good at this. Yeah, chat, we're good at this. Hegseth was a teenager who pumped himself up in the mirror and then yelled at his mom when she called him down for breakfast. Mom, meatloaf. All right, that's a wedding crashers joke. Okay. Keep it moving. Papa Penguin says, it's all going to shit. Might as well write it out where the weather is nicer and the money goes further. I'm done being their errand boy. Am I the only one who feels this way? Beaches, booze, and barbells is the life for me. Brother, head on out to Thailand then. Go be a passport bro in Thailand. That's the best way you could do it. Your money's going to go farther. The weather's nice. Just do it. For me personally, I'm in America. I'm going down with the ship, homies. It's just, this is my country, and I'm riding in. I'm burning in, boys. I'm not passport broing. It is what it is. So hopefully we turn it around, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Look at this guy. Nate's a Masonic psyop, always rocking the symbol. Literally a pagan god tatted on his heart. Fake Christian alert. Oh my God. Oh shit. Whoa. Whoa, dude. Holy shit. Real AARJ Brown 56. So crazy, dude. Whoa. Fake Christian. Look at the pagan god. Oh my God. Holy shit, dude. Could you, imagine being that guy? Imagine, sitting at home in your house, probably 70 pounds overweight, just got off your job at Chevron, sit down, and, back on the keyboard, Nate's Masonic, fake Christian, look at the pagan gods. Could you imagine, dude, that being your life? That's just on Q all night. Whoa, what's Q have to say about this? So stupid, dude. Oh man. Oh, dude. Okay. Yeah, JD said Nate's Illuminati. Well, you're my friend, dude, so that's not good. That's funny. I love a good joke, dude. All right, let's keep moving here. Nate, thanks for what you do, brother. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate you. AJ says, don't be demoralized, Nate. Revelation 15:2 says, and I saw what looked like a sea of glass mingled with fire, and standing beside it were those who had conquered the beast. Nukes detonated in Israel. I don't think that's in Revelations, brother, but yeah, I mean, God, who knows at this point? Wouldn't be shocked. Oh my gosh. All right. G unit. All right, and the best part about this is the name. Timmy's bag of 50 grenades. All right, we got some comedy. Oh, look at this guy. Hold on, we got another crybaby dude. Are people working normal jobs beneath you, Nate? Yeah, the guy who fucking did a career in the military, grinding my fucking dick off, getting paid jack shit my entire fucking adult life. Yeah. Yeah, I'm elitist. Fuck, dude. God, fucking idiot. Oh my God, dude. Wah. Nate was mean to the troll. Wah. God, dude. Oh my God. Nate's an elitist. Yeah, we get paid real fucking well in the military, guy. Okay. Yeah, where's JD? We need the binky in here, JD. All right. Oh, you guys think I'm angry? You can't make me laugh this hard and have me angry at the same time. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. You guys you make me laugh. It's fun. These are jokes. What do I think of Josh Hawley? I don't know. I don't have any, again, just any of the politicians are sort of meh to me. Hard for me to really believe that any of them have the best interest in America at heart at this point. So, yeah, I can't say that I'm a fan. It's whatever. Neutral, I guess. Six's mom. True fans love you. Brent and JD. Aloha from Kauai. Thank you, Six's mom. Bobby says, I've worked with Venezuela oil in the mid 90s. Interesting. That stuff has such, it does. Okay, Bobby, we know Bobby knows what he's talking about because this is true what he's saying. Says that stuff has such high sulfur content, hard to run. I think they're going for other resources. Yeah, so Bobby is 100% true on this. That has Venezuela's oil, the heavy crude does have a ton of sulfur in it. It has to be refined. It takes a lot of work to get it out. Mostly, I believe it's used for like heating oil, a lot of it. For like heating homes and businesses and stuff like that. A lot of that oil is. Bobby could probably correct me if I'm wrong. But again, a lot of it I think is, to Bobby's point, is limiting that oil production so that way that heavy crude up in Canada can get maximized profits. And then to Bobby's point, I think like gold and a lot of other natural resources are in there too. So Bobby says yes. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for that, Bobby. All right. We made it through 3.5 hours, decent sized live stream. Oh, but guys, you're not making me upset. It's funny. I look at this guy. He's still fucking crying because he got made fun of. No, guys. The trolls are fun. They make the channel more fun when we can make fun of them when they cry about it. And it's all in good fun, guys. It's all in good fun. All right. So that's going to do it, guys. We made it through a full episode, got through our super chats. Thank you all for sticking with us for the entire episode. Again, we will not be here on Friday. I got my daughter's birthday. We're going out of town, doing a little vacation. I need like an actual vacation at some point, guys. I have not stopped grinding out content since I started my YouTube channel. I think I've put out 2 to 3 videos every week or more, plus multiple live streams every week for 2 years straight. So at some point, I think I need to take a vacation, but I don't know. We're going to have a couple days off. So, and then we'll be back on Tuesday. I'm not sure what the premise of the episode will be. We'll have to wait and see, but the news cycle is moving so fucking crazy and so fast that I'm sure we'll have something wild to talk about within a week or so. So be on the lookout for that. I got a couple different videos I'll put out in the next couple of days, and then we'll be back with you guys Tuesday. So thank you all so much for being here. I love you and love all you guys. Love the community here. And that's going to do it. And thanks to all my buddies who are here in the chat tonight as well. Thanks to Jasmine. Thank you to the moderators. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next couple of videos, but also Tuesday for sure. We will be back. All right, we got one more super chat. I can't ever say your name. Atomica is explaining what she was saying. Okay, canceled is canceled. The one who lives in the desert is Erica. Very familiar with oaths, war crimes, etc. And I love you, but your problem with Compende is out of control. I be out. Okay. Again, appreciate you. Hard to keep up with all those. All right. Good nights from JV. Good nights from all of us. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Jasmine. What was our poll? Oh, Rubio versus. I put yes versus no on the Rubio versus Hunter. Shit. That was supposed to be Rubio or Hunter. I screwed the poll up, guys. Sorry. We'll do it next week. We'll do it on Tuesday. Figure out who you guys would rather vote for. Take care of my pink eye. I don't have pink eye. I just have clogged nose. And so I'm not blowing my nose. So we're getting eyes watered. All right. That's it. And drunk again. Nah, I wasn't drinking, homie. Had one drink. You got to get it together, guys. This isn't it. You got to get better at this stuff. All right. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Love y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next one.